the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the call. Pyle trying to make his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the here comes the here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful. What is going on, Wolfpack? I hope you enjoyed our new intro. Shout out to Taylor Malone for putting together a sick little clip there. I am the Wolf of Roto Street, rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed fantasy wolves here for your fantasy tailgate. Week 2, baby. Whether you're 0-1, 1-0, you got to get that week 2 win so you know your boys are here. Of course, I'm the Wolf of Roto Street. Also with me is CJay. How we doing today, brother?
That was a sick video.
Yeah, quality stuff, right? Kicking it off the right way.
Professional operation.
Exactly. We're getting there. Big week for the boys. Week record of views. Then we also get, the best article of all time, the workload report, and sick intros like that. So we're coming along, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. I know some of you guys have been here since day one where we were not legitimate at all. So it's appreciated. We're going to hit all your sit starts. We're going to cover all the news you need, who's in, who's out, all your good stuff to make sure your lineups are ready. So start getting your questions in. We're going to start hitting the news first, and we'll start right at the top. Miles Sanders and Lane Johnson, both full practices all week, both locked in. Of course, this benefits Wentz, who's now up to like my quarterback 14 after being in the 20 range. But also Sanders, is he a must start in your opinion, CJay?
Oh, yeah, I have him going in 3 leagues, I think. So, yeah, he's definitely a must-start, in my opinion.
Got to. I mean, you wasted not wasted, but you spent a second-round pick on the guy. You got to lock him in. He says he's hopeful for a full workload. And who are they going to ease him in with? Boston Scott looked god-awful. Corey Clement. There's nothing there. He's also only 6,000 on DraftKings. So I love Sanders. I think it's going to be the cheapest you see him all year. I think he just picks up where he left off, and that's a big day there. The Rams gave up a bunch of points last weekend to Zeke. So I'm all about it. I'm all aboard this train. I see the questions coming in. Keep them going, guys. Any likes and shares are always very much appreciated, especially if you have a Facebook group. You can drop this in or anything of that nature. Anything that helps us grow is always very, very appreciated. So thanks again. Keep them coming. James Conner practices in full, but is Benny Snell a concern? Would you go to Conner this week at all, CJay, if you had him?
No, I don't think so. I feel like he was benched last week. I saw there was some tweets. I didn't see any video of it, but I guess he was like bitching at the coaches, and then it just seemed like he was benched because he practiced full all week.
And I've seen this speculation too that they didn't need to force him in because they were rolling. He could have probably gone back in, but Snell was also eating. And then the Athletic comes out and says, well, now this might be a 1A, 1B situation. The only reason you loved Conner was a workhorse role, the Steelers' Tomlin workhorse role. So now if that's no longer a guarantee, 3 of the starting offensive linemen are out and a tough matchup against Denver, who largely contained Derrick Henry. I don't see any way you can get Conner into your lineup today. There's no way you can trust the guy. I mean, it could just be another ankle, and the guy's sitting again. So I bench Conner for almost everybody. I've gotten a lot of like Conner versus Gibson. Give me the upside stab of Gibson. I don't want Conner touching my lineup till I know he can make it through a full game, and I know that he's the workhorse. And none of those things are guaranteed to start this week. We'll hit one more news nugget, start hitting your sit starts after this. Actually, we'll rip through all the news and then sit starts, but keep them coming in, guys. We see them. A.J. Brown sidelined, possibly beyond week 2 with a bone bruise. Am I crazy to go back to Corey Davis, CJay?
Dude, you are such a puss if you do that. You can't do it. You say it every single year, but you always go back to him. He's like the ex-girlfriend that you just keep going back to.
I can't quit him. I know. There's always one week I sell myself on him, and then he always fucks me over. But this could be the week. If I'm going to go Corey Davis at all in 2020, it's this week, week 2, facing the Jags. I mean, the guy caught 7 of 8 targets, over 100 yards, was the chain mover. The Jags look pretty solid on offense and awful on defense, which could mean a nice high-scoring game. We got no A.J. Brown. If there's ever a week, and he's also only 4,000 on DraftKings, I'm not actually starting him anywhere, but I just wanted to throw him out there. If you lost, Godwin, or you lost, there's a bunch of big injuries this week, and he could be a potential fill-in. And speaking of Godwin, he is out I would much prefer Scotty the Body Miller than Corey Davis this week. He's also only 4,100 on DraftKings. So if you're going streamer, Scotty the Body's in my top 30 receivers. We already saw a good rapport with Brady, even with both guys in. Now you got to imagine Godwin out. He commands that slot fully. Let us know if you have Scotty Miller questions, but there's a good chance I'm probably leaning him. The only streamer I like above him, not necessarily a streamer anymore, is Paris Campbell. I know your boy over there, OSU guy.
Of course.
Looked great. They were using him like they did at, after the catch and all those generated touches at OSU, and he looked great. And now he gets a Viking secondary that gave up the most points to wide receivers, not just because Devontae Adams bent him over their knee, also because you saw MVS go off, could have had an even bigger day. Lazard had a touchdown. I think Rivers could go off as a great streamer at QB alongside Paris Campbell, both cheap on DraftKings too. But Scotty the Body Miller, one of the best streamers of the week. And on that note too, Mike Evans, though, he's over the hammy, no injury designation. Do you trust him? I know we were texting about this and you're not fully in yet.
Well, I'm just not in. I don't like the fit with Brady. Like, he's just not really. He's basically what like N'Keal Harry should be, like, technically, like at his very peak next, like in a few years. But yeah, I just don't. He's not the type of receiver. He doesn't get a bunch of separation. Brady's not one to really just throw the ball up.
How are you lumping N'Keal Harry and Mike Evans in the same?
No. I'm saying they're the similar. So like basically, I would say N'Keal Harry sucks, but I'm saying like that's like what like the goal was of drafting him was like a player like Mike Evans. Like he doesn't really get much separation on his routes. Doesn't really. I don't know. Just not like the Brady type. I don't think.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I think that Arian's sucking him off all week, though, saying, anytime he doesn't get 10 targets, I feel bad. Like, I think this could be the week they do meld. We saw Brady. I thought he had a couple nice downfield throws. He was getting killed.
Yeah, that was that deep shot. That was like the pass interference thing. It was like a 45-yard throw. That was really nice. But
it was great. Somebody laughing at your suggestion that Evans was a N'Keal Harry comparison. God damn, that was horrible. I know you weren't. But still, yeah. The deep ball looked better than I expected, which is kind of the bigger takeaway for me is Brady can still sling it. And I really think Evans gets greased. He's only 6,400 on DraftKings. He has those 35, 40-point days in him. I really think against Carolina too. I mean, to me, Evans is in that smash spot and I'm all about it. Last couple notes here. We got about 5 injuries left to cover. I see all your questions. You know what? We'll take a break after this Crowder one, hit a few questions, and then get back to the injury report because some of these are still up in the air. So we'll wait to see the notes on them. But Jamison Crowder is out fresh off his blow up last weekend, a monster play on DraftKings if you had him. But he will be out against the 49ers. Wasn't a great spot to play him anyways, but still, I now do you potentially go to Perriman? Again, I like obviously Scotty Miller. I'd rather have Corey Davis as a streamer. I've seen Brandon Ayuk dropped in a lot of leagues. And as we're going to talk about, we might as well cover it. George Kittle is out. So there is some streaming upside with Ayuk. Also, dare I say, Jordan Reid at tight end if you're desperate. I know, again, Davis and Reid.
Kendrick Bourne touchdown today.
Oh, no, I maybe, but I think Reid could have a sneaky smash spot. Obviously, season long, the dude's going to get hurt. He's a little bitch, but in a Jets defense, I mean, they are LOL bad this year. So I could see Ayuk and also Jordan Reid having decent stream days if you need to fill in for Crowder and Scotty the Body's no longer there. If Corey Davis is gone, those are a couple of the plays I like for cheap. Obviously, Campbell has to be gone too, but Perriman, out there in 90% of leagues right now, if you're truly desperate, they're saying he's going to have a big role today with Crowder out, should become the number 1 alpha. And we've seen him thrive. Last year was the number 1 receiver for those last 3 weeks. So we've seen it happen. Let's now hit some questions and then we'll get back to the remaining news. David Campanell, full PPR, Sanders, Robinson, Rojo, wide receiver. So one running back. I got to go Sanders there, right? You agree?
Yeah,
I know you love Rojo, and Rojo is in a smash spot. Carolina today, gave up 3 touchdowns.
I'm not into that backfield at all. I can't do it.
Yeah, it could get ugly, and this could be, the week Fournette just takes over. So even though I like Rojo to smash this week, you never know what week it's going to be Fournette just stealing all the goal line touches. Edelman, Sanders, Diggs, pick 1. I got to go Diggs here against Miami. I love the Sanders matchup with no Mike T, but I mean, Diggs was dominating last week. Didn't find the end zone, but overall, I was very, very encouraged with just the whole Bills offense, but also Stephon Diggs. So I go Diggs out of those 3. I like all the options. I'm surprised you can only pick one. Oh, one more for the flex. Then it comes down to Rojo or Sanders or Edelman for me. That's a tricky call because I do think the Pats are going to have to throw a lot more tonight for Sunday Night Football, David.
I'd lean
like
Edelman
Sanders.
there. Full PPR, I think.
Full PPR, yeah.
PPR,
who are you thinking?
I think I'd lean Edelman there, I think.
You do think Edelman in a pass happier script? I mean, they're getting the Raiders, though. That is the Saints with no Mike Thomas. I think Sanders could get peppered. That's very close for me. I'm sticking to 2 receivers here, especially with the PPR. I'm going to go Diggs, and then your pick of Edelman, Sanders. I lean Sanders. CJ leans Edelman. Good morning, Jeremiah. Always great to see you. Standard, another one from David. Good to see you every week as well. Pick 1, Jimmy G or Cousins for QB. And then RB. So I'm going to go Jimmy G against the Jets, despite being a depleted weapons cabinet. Cousins is a little more playing this year with the shootout style games they're going to be in because of that awful secondary. Just one of the worst I've ever seen. But ultimately, I just never feel good about Cousins. Do you agree with Jimmy over Cousins?
Yeah, definitely. Cousins is just so blah to me. I wouldn't even want him on my team. But the truth is,
there's going to be weeks he throws the ball 15 times. It's just like
you just have to find the week, which is the difficult part.
Not my guy. And then flex Drake, Taylor, Mostert. Oh man, you got some great fucking options, but I got to go Taylor out of all of those.
No, it's pick 1 for running back, pick 1 for flex.
Oh, so we got to bench one of these, and that's even trickier because I love all 3 of them. Washington, nothing scary about those guys. Despite a pretty menacing front 7 last week, I think they'll get Drake in space. I think he's a good bet to find the end zone, but I think he might be the one I bench because Taylor's my favorite. Colts, taking over against the Vikings here. I like Taylor, and then Mostert against the Jets. The guy's going to steamroll him. So I think I benched Drake out of all these guys. We saw Mostert play 60% of the snap, handle 60% of the work, and account for almost 80% of the total yards out of the backfield. I have a hard time benching him against the Jets.
I want to know who's the other running back.
McKinnon?
No, because he's saying pick 1 running back and 1 flex. So who are the 2 running back spots?
There's got to be someone in front, right? Yeah. So who are you playing ahead of all these 3 guys? But I can't bench Taylor, and I can't really bench Mostert this week. So I guess Drake, the riskiest of them. So that's who I'm going. Top of the morning to you as well, Giuseppe. Great to see you. The Wolf and the Silent Assassin, the new nickname for CJ. I love it. Let's go, my man. Absolutely, David. DJ or Hines flex PPR. Ooh, tricky because DJ did look very, very good last week, but also gets Baltimore, a tough matchup.
That'd be a pass because, did you see when they fell behind against Kansas City, he just was gone for some reason.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien and Watson, they never throw to the running back. I don't get it. And that's why you would probably trade for David Johnson as receiving prowess. I think I have David Johnson just as the surer bet for 15, 20 touches, a little bit ahead of Hines. But dare I say Hines is safer? I think Hines is definitely a better bet for 10, 15. So in most cases, I'm going DJ, but I do think Hines is safer this weekend. Good morning, Corey. We are the GOATs indeed. What's a good defense to stream this week that might be available on the waivers? I kind of like going Arizona. I've seen them available in a ton of leagues. And I think that the defense took a nice step forward this year. Washington's nothing special, even though I think they're better this year. But let me know who are some options on your waiver wire. Some people mentioned Chicago's out there on theirs. I like the Rams, who got dropped a lot last week.
Oh yeah, I love they're in a lot of my DFS lineups this week.
The Rams are, yeah. That D-line.
And especially, exactly, facing the Eagles, let up 8 sacks last week. Just a disaster offensively.
Yeah, I think they could get 5, 6 sacks. Aaron Donald could have 4 himself. So you look for those guys. Let us know, Corey, who is out there for you. And again, anybody watching that's willing to give us a like, a share, always appreciated, both on Twitter, Facebook. I don't think you can like it on YouTube as well. So all that is greatly appreciated. Playing the scrub Steven Gershlak this week. One of our favorite DMers, Steven Gershlak.
Hey, should I pick X or Y? Oh, I'm going to go Z anyways.
He'll always go the opposite of what we say, yeah. Pick 1 receiver, 1 flex. Keenan, Sanders, Campbell, Hines, Malcolm Brown. Oh, man, that's a very tough, tricky group, Mike Mad Money, to sift through. I think Manny, Sanders, and Keenan might be my plays, but I like Malcolm Brown, a sure bet for touches against Philly. And then I like Hines. There's a case to make for all these guys. We already raved about Paris Campbell, Mad Money. So I This has just got to be
The safest would be the first two, I think.
You think Sanders is your first two?
Yeah, I think, Allen, Sanders are probably the safest, and then Hines is right there with me. But.
I know. Allen, you think they're going to be playing catch-up mode. We saw Fuller in garbage time eat. I think I go Keenan and Manny, but that's a really, really tough one, Mad Money. Let us know where you're leaning. What's up, Taylor? That was indeed fire, that intro. Pick one for Stephen Tweed, Emmanuel Sanders, Hilton, or Marvin Jones Jr. I think I'm leaning TY against that Viking secondary, even though we keep raving about Manny Sanders. I think Hilton's in that blow-up spot, but probably also not the riskiest because Marvin Jones is also risky. All three of them are in blow-up spots, though. You got to feel good about that, Stephen Tweed. Marvin Jones, he disappointed last week, but that's going to be a shootout, in my opinion. Both bad secondaries for the Lions and the Packers. But Sanders, the number one. TY, the number one against the defense we just saw Devontae Adams shred to complete smithereens. I go TY, but I don't know. That's tricky. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I love TY this week. He's in a few of my lineups too. I don't know. I feel like I could definitely see that patent 50-yard touchdown bomb.
It seems like the ripe week for it after we saw them get destroyed deep routinely last week. So yes, TY.
Corlyn Sutton's playing, by the way.
Corlyn Sutton is active. I've gotten a few texts and DMs about Corlyn Sutton. Even if he's playing, I kind of have him in the Connor, where I don't want to use him quite yet. I need to see him get through a game. I want to see that he's actually Cortland Sutton. Plus, he's facing Pittsburgh today. That's a brutal secondary. Slayton went off against him, but that's all very, very tricky to trust. Shenault or Parker PPR. We don't have news yet if Parker's even playing, but even if he does, he'll be facing Tre'Davious White. That's a brutal lockdown, shutdown corner matchup, Giuseppe. So most cases, I'm definitely going Shenault here. I've recommended him for a lot of flexes. They were getting him wildcat snaps, goal line look. He converted on, and as a receiver, I really, really just like Shenault in general. So I'm going Shenault over Parker today. Metcalf or Campbell? A lot of Metcalf questions earlier in my sit-start thread, facing that Patriots secondary. I still think I roll him. But what do you think? Are you benching any Seahawks?
Yeah, so right now I have him in my flex in the league, and I don't know. I'm not feeling it all. I think he's going to get shadowed by Gilmore, and then they're just going to play McCourty over the top on Lockett. So I really don't like it, but I guess with Campbell, I'd rather Metcalf, I think.
It is going to be the Gilmore lockdown show. It's just a matter of do they muscle a touchdown or two in on him? It is tricky, but and Campbell does have that huge upside. And these are where weeks are kind of won and lost, is benching a stud for a flyer and having that pan out. I would say if you are a heavy underdog, you got to go for the upside. And I think Campbell's ceiling is only so high Metcalf's ceiling can be against Gilmore. But he also is a more guaranteed lock, in my opinion, to produce. In most cases, I'm not benching Metcalf, but there is a case, TN, if you need to. I totally sees it. CJ looks like shit. Jesus.
Hey, I think I look great today.
I was going to say your eyes are less buttholey than last week. I think you look good, but
got up for another early English Premier League game at 7. Been up since 7, but
you and your Premier shit, fucking ridiculous. Shenault, Perriman, Edwards, or Tate for Giuseppe. I like Shenault above all those options. Me personally, I don't know. Is there anybody you prefer, CJ?
Shenault, I guess.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's really tough.
I go Shenault myself. Let's rip through the rest of the quick news. So Parker is questionable. I don't know if that's official yet, whether he's in or out. Feel free to comment in Wolfpack if you've heard any news. I personally couldn't play him either way if he's active. Hamstring could just get re-aggravated. We saw that against the Pats last week in the second half. And then you're also getting Tre'Davious White. So this is a brutal start for Parker this year. Could be an intriguing buy low, because I've seen people asking, should I cut this guy? If you can get him for I love Jerick McKinnon, but let's say a bench running back like that, take a stab after this week when he sucks yet again. Jack Doyle will also be out, so Mo Alley Cox, probably not recommending him in season long unless you are really desperate. And I've seen some pretty desperations, but that scheme does pepper tight end, so there is some sneaky upside to Mo Alley Cox if he's out. I prefer Jordan Reid, as we talked about Kittle out. I prefer Jordan Reid both season long and daily fantasy at 2,600. I really think he's a threat to get 20 points at 2,600, which would just be a weak swinger given the money you save. But definitely another option there, Mo Alley Cox. In my top 15 tight ends, just because Reich loves peppering the position. Just a couple last ones here. Banged up Broncos. CJ, you said Sutton is in, right?
Yep.
Is Philip Lindsay, he's out or is he in?
He's out 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks. Okay, so that diagnosis did come out. Melvin Gordon, I've been getting some questions because he is facing Pittsburgh's elite front. But I got to play a guy that's going to definitely get 20 touches now with Philip Lindsay. Goal line work, should find his way into the end zone. So I like Melvin Gordon with this absence. I can't trust Sutton. I don't really want to go Judy, though, either way against a Pittsburgh secondary, especially now with the target share even a little more in question. Kind of avoiding Broncos outside Gordon and maybe Fant, too, in a decent matchup. Galladay, out week 2. We talked about, I think Marvin Jones, I know, tough second, third rounder, like that swing for a lot of owners. Obviously we talked about Marvin Jones and now a bigger blow-up spot against Green Bay, a very porous secondary. But Danny Amendola, only 3% owned. Like, again, if you're desperate, Scotty's gone. Davis is gone. I think Danny you saw 8 targets last week. Some dude named, Quintez Cephas or something?
Quintez Cephas.
I don't even know how you say the name.
Yeah, it's a rookie from Wisconsin.
Led the team in targets, though.
Yeah.
I've 10 targets last week. So, he might be their chuck it up style Galladay, immediate replacement. I still think Marvin Jones, a decent bet, and one of those guys on DraftKings that will come at even more expensive than he was last week. And so many people were in on him last week. He'll be 5% owned, and I think in a better blow up spot. Against a Green Bay bad secondary. And Ruggs practices Saturday, but still a risk on Monday Night Football. It seems likely he's going to go. The Saints have a good secondary, though. Adding Janoris Jenkins really did make a world of difference. And I don't really want to trust Ruggs. You never know if that will flare up, if he'll make it through the game. And if you get stuck, Traquan Smith's like a backup plan, but that is also a risk. Maybe he finally has a coming out party we've been hyping up for quite some time. I don't think so, though. Even though Michael Thomas will be out, there's optimism about a quick return, which was kind of surprising. There was at one point this week that not even a question. There was a question whether he might play or not. They're going to rest him, protect him from himself. I bet you he wants to be out there. But it seems like he is going to make a faster recovery than expected. So that buy low window might have shut down. I saw some good buy lows pulled off this year already with him. So intriguing indeed. Let me go back to the questions now and find off where we left off. CJ looks like shit with a good benchmark for us.
Tyrone Smith is out today too.
Tyrone Smith? Oh, the tackle for the Cowboys?
Both starting tackles out.
Oh, that's not good. I have Zeke and Lamb in all my lineups this week, so I don't know if I'm going to rethink Zeke, though. That's Atlanta. They're fucking bad.
He ran so hard last week, too.
I loved how he looked. Beer of choice of the day, West Coast IPA, BBA Stout, or New England IPA? Ask David. I love the juicy, the hazy, the New England style IPA, a lot more than the bitter style West Coast. Pound one of those for me. I'll crack one by the end of the show with you, David. When we get a break in the action, I can sprint over to my fridge. Paris Campbell or Darius Slayton? Ooh, I got to go Darius. A tougher matchup, but the dude had 31 points. Looked like that true alpha. And I tweeted out a stat earlier in the offseason about Jason Garrett as a play caller. His number 1 has always finished top 15 in fantasy. He's had, Terrell Owens, but some guys, Miles Austin and some kind of nobodies also had some huge seasons. Des Bryant, of course, we all know, but some low talents did have good ones. So despite the great matchup for Campbell, I think I'm going Slayton. That's a tough one though, CJ. What are your thoughts on Slayton versus Campbell?
Yeah, I'm all aboard the Slayton train now. I saw a stat, I think it was from week 10 last year or week 12 that he's led the league in touchdowns.
Yeah, it kind of coincided right with Danny Jones taking over. They have that nice rapport, and we saw it again. So, yeah, I'll go Slayton. I really like that. That's right. He did have the most receiving touchdowns over the last 7 weeks or something like that. Connor sucks. He does fucking suck, Wayne. You're a Pittsburgh fan, right?
Yeah.
Good to see you, though, Wayne. Glad you tuned in. But, yes, Connor does blow. And that's why, Snell, a lot of people dropping him in light of Connor practicing in full and now playing. I would not be shocked even if Connor stays healthy if Snell ends up taking this role over. I think he looked slim. He looked explosive. I really like me some Benny Snell here, and I hate Connor. Connor will play a quarter and get hurt again. This is going to be the Connor hate parade. Yep. Here we go. I was burned all season by him last year. He does this all the time. Yeah. What did he have? Like 8 different freaking injuries. I literally think it was 8 last year. 8 separate games he left, and there was like 8 different injuries. So, you hate to know why he's so injury prone, but he certainly is. The Wolf has some perfectly coiffed hair. Look at that. Yeah. Got that stretch lineup this week. Thank you, David, for noticing. Getting some brownie points with the Wolf this morning.
Hey, shaved my head last night.
Yeah, come on. What about that coiffed hair right there? Love it. Thoughts on Cephas? Yeah, that's who we just kind of talked about. I mean, he's 1% owned, and probably for a reason. He saw 10 targets and did nothing with them. But again, it depends on how deep your bench is. 10 targets or 10 targets. I just think Galladay's probably on the verge of a return, and there's better ways to spend a roster spot. But it depends really how deep you are. Most likely not doing anything with him, though, Giuseppe. Tough flex here. Marvin Jones, Sanders. That I literally have those guys 24 and 25 because I got that same question, I think, 4 times yesterday. And I have Jones 1 higher, even though his floor is a lot lower. I just think we're getting like a classic 122 Marvin Jones day against, I think they're going to be playing comeback mode. Rodgers on that fuck you tour is going to have a day against that banged up. I think all their corners are out, starting corners for the Lions. So that's going to be a field day for Rodgers, a clinic again. But in light of that, I think Jones is going to be playing a lot of catch up. I don't know, CJ. What are you?
I'm going Sanders there. I like him better as like a number 1 receiver than Marvin Jones. Just like last week, I really wasn't high on Jones. I think what do you have, like 4 for 50 or something?
Yeah, I think Sanders has proven he can handle the number 1 corners better than Jones can, but I don't know. We're getting a Jones blow up in my opinion this week. T.Y. Hilton or Hollywood Brown. As much as we raved about T.Y. earlier, Hollywood has to be on your can't bench list at this point. Like, he looked great week 1. I think all the hype about him being over, he was like 160 last year with a screw in his foot and still was exploding away from defenses. Lamar looked like even deadlier as a passer. It was after throwing 40 touchdowns last year. Like, he was lasered in. I don't think he can bench Hollywood Brown. I don't know about you, CJ. What do you think with the matchup?
Yeah, Hollywood's locked in for the rest of the year.
Yeah, there's very few players I would bench him for. He's going to be top 15 every single week. Morning, gents. Need upside. Kareem gave it to me. He sure did, India. Yeah, you're probably still screaming from that one. Godwin's sitting as well. Waiver wires barren. Oh, God, this is horrible. So, I mean, is Corey Davis gone? Is Scotty Miller gone? Like, those options all suck. There's no upside to Larry Fitz. Brian Edwards, I am nervous about against that Saints secondary. So I guess out of those 3, it's Curtis Samuel getting the 3rd coverage for Tampa Bay. Maybe he's the one that goes off.
He still had, like 9 targets last week or something?
Yep, it was 9 for Moore, 8 for Robbie, 8 for Curtis. Robbie obviously did the most with his, but still, Curtis still obviously clearly involved. So if he gets 8 touches against Tampa Bay, he could make anything happen this week. So I guess I go him, but like look for Scotty the Body. Look for maybe even Brashad Perriman, like is more upside Christy India. I probably go Perriman over those 3 guys with Crowder out if you're just looking for a moonshot. Teddy or Tannehill for Jeremiah. Tannehill does get gross Jacksonville, but he's also without A.J. Brown, which has to give you a little bit of pause. I mean, Teddy
looked like old Tannehill too last week, and he was terrible.
He did look terrible. The thing is, too, CJ, he racked up, I think, 19 to 20 fantasy points. Yeah. Looking terrible. That's the thing with him is like he doesn't look good, and then you look at the final output, and you're like, okay, if I just close my eyes and plug my nose, like I'm going to be okay with Tannehill. Yeah. But we love Teddy. Like we're a Teddy show. We're a Teddy site. Teddy Bridgewater, baby. A weird one to go all in this year, but I liked how it looked. I know they didn't ultimately score too many touchdowns, but the offense was moving and humming, and I liked it. And I think Tampa Bay is going to put up their points today too. So I go Teddy. I do. More exciting. Panic with DJ Moore yet, Marco? I don't think panic, but I think we definitely have to reevaluate season long how we're thinking of him, whereas he was kind of lumped preseason in with the Jujus and the Allen Robinsons range. He was only 1 target ahead of Robbie Anderson, obviously, who scored more fantasy points and led the team in yards, and also Curtis Samuel. So that's the calling card of the Brady offense is spreading the wealth. I think we kind of undersold that. Pete Davidson came on our pod and was like, hey, you have DJ Moore a little too high. Because of how much this offense is going to spread it. And we saw that in week 1. So I'm not panicking. The guy's still usable. You saw 9 targets. Like, that's pretty high, but the target share clearly showed this offense is going to spread it out. So not panic, but you got to lump him closer to those wide receiver 2s, not a wide receiver 1, in my opinion. Are you panicking, CJ?
Not panicking, but like just what you said, that's what Joe Brady does. He wants everyone to touch the ball. And yeah, just it's going to be hard. He's not an alpha anymore.
It's true. I just started laughing because my next comment, some very deep analysis here. Jordan Reid equals little bitch. I'm hoping for 1 week. I don't disagree in it at all. This is as accurate analysis as we've seen today. But 2,600 on DraftKings is 2,600 on DraftKings. I think the guy has a great shot at a TD today. Watch Ross Dwelly go for 3, though. You know what I mean? Oh.
As long as his brain stays healthy, it's fine.
Right.
Just get through this week. It'll be fine.
He's good for a week. Get a week out of him. Squeeze some juice out of him. Squeeze that little bitch juice out. Craig Frost, a longtime fan of the show, needs 3. Calvin Ridley, obviously. I'm not like he's locked in. Don't even ask him anymore. You need 2. Come on. This is one just general preface is when you're asking questions, don't give us your whole fucking roster. Limit it to where you're actually deciding. That gets annoying. I know I appreciate the questions. I love the interaction. Don't mean to be an angry man here, but you guys know you're playing Calvin Ridley. And if you don't, you shouldn't be playing fantasy football. He's a monster. Come on now. The rest of these you got some good options. So I can see the rest of these being questions. I think you got to lock in Kupp and Slayton, though. As good as Anderson looked, I'm not trusting Cooks until I see him make it through a full game. Traquan Smith, fun to own, see what happens without MT in there. But
he's so fucking annoying.
He's so annoying. Like you can't go him.
No flash.
And then you got Ertz and Jimmy Graham. You got to go Ertz over Jimmy Graham. So Ridley and Ertz are locked in. You need 2 others. I got to go Kupp and Slayton, in my opinion. I don't think the others.
Do you see the Eagles moving on from Ertz this year? Well, I know he's going to be a free agent, but do you see him being traded at like the deadline? I guess he's been like fucking nuisance, like with the GM. I guess after last game, he's just been whining about his contract. Goddard is playing a ton of snaps.
Conveniently, Goddard sees 8 targets to his 2 or 3, has 100 yards and a TD. Like, I think they're definitely gonna. You hate to say the front office dictates like on Sunday what happens, but is there some nuggets getting planted into the ears? Like, hey, we got a game plan for Goddard, a little bit more to groom him for the heir apparent. I love Goddard. I would like that. Wouldn't shock me at all if Goddard outscores Ertz this year, just because nothing against Ertz, but Goddard's a monster.
Yeah.
If he was the lone tight end somewhere, he'd probably rank top 6, top 3 certainly in Philadelphia where they pepper tight ends. So yeah, I mean, I like Goddard a lot this year. I still like Ertz because they play so many 2 tight end sets, but you're never playing Graham over Ertz. Anderson's the only intriguing name there, Craig, but I go Kupp, Slayton, Ridley, Ertz. Eckler, Gibson, Parker, if active. Taylor,
Eckler.
Come on. I know Eckler, scary week 1. Certainly gets a downgrade on the rest of the season big board, which you can find at rotostreetjournal.com, Breed and Feed Fantasy Wolves. But you can't overreact here. Parker is sitting because he's got a tough matchup and hamstring. Just no way. I do think, and I've got a lot of Gibson questions today. I have a sneaky feeling in my gut. Might be the wishful owner in me because I own him everywhere. We know how that goes. You always get these feelings about your own players. But I think this is Gibson's coming out party. They talked about how last week they were up, and that's when Barber, game flow. It sucks that Barber is going to be the lead clock bleeder because he's fucking.
How much of a Barber stat line was that last week?
17 for 29, 1.7 yards per clip. Like that's not gonna last. Come on. It sucks that Barber's also the goal line guy, but they did say in when we are down, Gibson's going to see his touches increase. We kind of rotate based on situation. And I think against Arizona this week, I think the air raid looked so goddamn good year 2.
Oh, it's incredible.
Against San Fran, nonetheless. Like, what are they going to do to Washington? My favorite stack of the day is Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. I think they're going to tear that defense to shreds this week. And so that's all leading to me saying I like Gibson in catch-up mode. We saw Mostert really exploit that Arizona defense last week on that slant and just outran everybody. Gibson has that speed too. Wouldn't be shocked to see a monster big play this week. Even still, I just wanted to get my Gibson take out there. I still like Eckler. Like you can't bench Eckler yet. That's your round 1.
And in our workload report, Eckler, he was on the field a ton, got a ton of carries. He just wasn't involved in the passing game. So hopefully that changes.
career high carries and snaps. Like there's some positive trends after you dig through the shit of the receiving work. And then you think against the Chiefs, they're going to need to pass in comeback mode. Like Eckler's still pretty high in my season long and weekly rankings. You got to go Eckler there. Malcolm Brown, Keenan Allen, or Deontay Johnson. Flex position, PPR, thanks. A lot of good options there. Isn't it wild that Malcolm Brown is like entered this like a high-end wide receiver 2 comparison? And it's worth it too, in my opinion, until he gives up the role. He looked, and as an Akers owner in almost every league, like I am very worried at how good Malcolm Brown looked. Do you think that's for real, CJ, or are you not buying it?
I own Akers in a few leagues too, and I'm not. I still feel like he's going to take it over eventually. There was no preseason. He hasn't really played anything since Florida State, which that team sucked. And it was like, I don't know. I still think he will win the job eventually, but
I do too.
A little longer than expected.
I like a lot. I agree fully. I like a lot of the Miles Sanders comparisons I'm seeing. Like Howard did look good with the Eagles early too, and eventually, succumbed to injury, and then the rookie was finally comfortable, and he ended up crushing it. I think that happens with Akers. I think it happens sooner with Gibson, as I said, maybe even as early as this week. So I'm preaching patience with those guys, no doubt. But while he looks good and while he's in, Brown was getting the receptions, the goal line touches, and he's a powerful beast. Like this is tough. Like to go him over 2 receivers, I really like. But
hold on. Do we know that this is in Hollywood?
Oh, it could be Marquis Brown. If it's Marquis
Brown, that's what I was thinking in the beginning.
That's right. If it's Marquis Brown, it's a no-brainer. It's Marquis. Yeah. It's flex, so I'm guessing it's running back, and I don't know that anyone would ask that. But I think I go Malcolm for the sure, like 15 touches. I go there. Keenan Allen makes me a little nervous with Tyrod. I do think they're going to be comeback mode. This is a good week to see what happens when they're down big, because we know, Mahomes and Tyreek, first game on the turf together other than a preseason game where they connected for like an 80-yard bomb. I think they're going to put up some points in a hurry and then hit the bench in the showers for the fourth quarter, which may lead to some good garbage, Keenan.
I mean, the Chargers offense might just suck because they played the Bengals. They did absolutely nothing. The Browns look like the best offense in the league on Thursday.
I could see that too. Like even if it's garbage time and the narrative's right, just Tyrod sucking and not getting it done. And I think that's going to happen. And I think next week we see Justin Herbert starting. I think they're going to, they're going to suck. So that's my bold prediction is Herbert's going to be starting by next week. So I go Brown, either Marquise or Malcolm, whichever Brown you have, I go Brown. Scotty Brooks, great fan over here. Half PPR, Hines, Montgomery, Scotty Mills. I like Hines there. That's a bad Vikings defense, especially against the pass. And that's where Hines will be most involved. So I think he's a good bet for the end zone again, despite Taylor also going off this week. I think Miller's my next. I'm never going to go Montgomery. Come on. Disgusting. Do you agree with Hines over Scotty?
First of all, I can't believe why they just paid Tariq Cohen. It's an absurd contract for him too. So
dumb.
Dumb. I'm definitely going Hines there.
Hines as well. Cool. Yeah, so dumb, especially as Allen Robinson's like beefing. Why not get your alpha target hog locked up before your satellite scat back that averaged 4.4 yards a target last year? So inefficient. Johnny Nottingham. Should I drop Gesicki and pick up Jordan Reed PPR? I mean, Gesicki definitely has better season-long value. If it's like a 1-week stream, I might go Reed, but overall, Gesicki's just a more valuable guy, so I probably don't pull that. Reed's going to have a concussion probably as early as this week. Like, I as a 1-week stream, fine, but no. Flex, John Brown, Kirk, Campbell, Gibson. I am leaning Johnny B there against Miami. I mean, that passing game, they were up all game against the Jets, and they still threw it 44 times. And Allen, sure, he had his classic Allen overthrows and weird boneheaded plays, but overall, I was really impressed with Josh Allen and just the Bills' offense. A lot of 4 wide sets, a lot of pre-snap motion, just a creative, like they started to take that next step at the end of last year, and they picked right up where they left off. So I like targeting anybody against Miami in that Buffalo game. So I go Johnny Brown there. With, our guy Zenos loves Kirk this week, and definitely a ton of upside there, DeIndia, with all of those options. But John Brown's my personal favorite. Would you go elsewhere, CJ, or do you like Johnny Brown too?
I do like John Brown. I'm just hesitant. He did have a hamstring injury, didn't he? I think he was kind of limited throughout the week in practice, I want to say.
I don't think I saw that. Why don't you look that up? Because I didn't see that at all. I think he's fine, but we'll see here. Emergency plans
Yeah,
for
he
Kittle?
didn't. He didn't practice until Thursday.
He what?
He didn't practice until Thursday.
I bet you it was more maintenance. Like that,
Yeah.
he played the whole game last week. Probably just like more rest days. Emergency plans for Kittle, asks Nate Very. I think Jordan Reid, again, the direct backup, makes sense because you could just have him in until Kittle returns. But other than that, Mo Alley Cox, as we said, very scary to recommend, but Reich does pepper tight ends. The dude did get 2 catches on like 5 snaps last week. So he is like a pure desperation. Let us know who's out there. I've seen Ebron out there in some leagues. He could be an option. But yeah, I mean, do you go Greg Olsen? Like, it gets ugly out there. I think I go the direct backup for right now and go Jordan Reid as my top play, potentially.
Devontae Parker is active.
Active. Okay. Not using him. But, Devontae Parker being active actually makes me think Preston Williams could be a little more usable just because if he's drawing Devontae, Tre'Davious, I think, getting the number 2 corners, Preston might have a sneaky nice day against that secondary coverage. Mark Ingram or Latavius for Jacob Beatty, neither. But if I have to go one, I'm probably going Ingram. I know that Dobbins vultured those touchdowns, but Roman, came out and said, I'm going to switch it up every week, our roles, the snaps and everything. Like, wouldn't shock me at all. And that's why I'm a little nervous on Dobbins as a start this week too. If Ingram just becomes the goal line guy out of nowhere this week and scores 2 touchdowns, Latavius is like, he saw 15 carries in a positive script, probably going to be a positive script this week, but Kamara got all the goal line work. That plant-based prediction on my end did not look too good. He did not look like a plant-based bitch. He was crushing it. So Kamara, I think we were a little too low on to start the year for sure. Yeah. And that's to say I don't like Latavius Murray right now. So
give me the touchdown call back too, like that one with like a minute left.
Kamara, yeah, I know, right? Should have had 3 on the day. Do you agree with Ingram or Latavius, or which way?
Yeah, I'm going Ingram. Even though I love Dobbins, I'm still waiting on him. I still have him on my bench. I don't know. I think it's gonna be there's gonna be like no rhyme or reason for a little bit, and it's just like whoever they feel like it.
This will be a good week to smash the panic alarm if Dobbins does get all the goal line work again. Then it's like, okay, see ya, Ingram. Like, he'll be useless this year if he's not going to see it. But let's see how they rotate their backs this week, in my opinion. But also, if this is a flex question, are there any receivers out there for PPR? Scotty Miller, some of these streamers, I kind of like both better than both these running backs. What's up, Katie Jagier? Pick a wide receiver flex. Lamb, Parker, Judy, Rager, Dobbins, Gibson, full PPR.
Oh, look at all those rookies.
Yeah, a lot of rookies. She loves the we love the rookies coming into the year, and Katie Jagier, a big believer on the big board, which I love. Won her title last year, if I'm not mistaken. Lamb is my favorite of these guys. I think this is Lamb's coming out party this week. He's my lock at 4,700 on DraftKings. I'm hitting him everywhere. I love Lamb against that Atlanta defense, and I think that game. Obviously one of the best to target for DraftKings and just in general, it's going to go points bonanza. So I like Lamb the most. From there, it gets tricky. Now it gets tough. As we mentioned with Dobbins, like the goal line roll is awesome if he has it. If Ingram gets those touchdowns, though, Dobbins was useless last week. Oh man, I think I go Dobbins still out of these guys because he looked really fucking good too. Yeah. I think I go Lamb, Dobbins, but that's tough. What do you think, CJay?
Yeah, so I liked Judy last week. He looked really good. He did have a few drops, and then KJ Hamler's also playing this week too, so they have a loaded receiving core now.
Which could end up helping him. The lid lifting, Corlyn Sutton drawing number 1s. Judy is in a pretty good spot in full PPR. He's going to see the work.
He seems like Locke's go-to guy too. He
did look smooth as hell. Like some of those routes were filthy. Lamb is my only lock there, Katie. Let us know who maybe you're thinking. It comes down to Lamb and then Judy, Dobbins, and Gibson. I'm not looking at Rager yet. I want to see him get it done. And Parker, I can't start this week with the hamstring concerns and Tre'Davious White. So I go Lamb, no doubt. And then I personally think Dobbins, but the floor is higher with Judy. And Gibson's coming out party could be as soon as this week. But give me Lamb, Dobbins personally. Saquon, not sure the question there.
No, that was remember he had like all the sick running backs. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Pick 2, Marvin Jones, Corey Davis, Scotty Miller. I'm going to go Marvin and Scotty. Again, liking the Corey Davis stream this week, but not over either of those two. You agree there?
Yeah, I'm proud of you for that.
Brian DeMcCarthy, however I would say this name. Looking for upside.
No, is it Bree and McCarthy? No, never mind.
Brian, yeah, no, and yeah, I don't know. Whatever your name is, sir. Looking for upside. Scotty Miller, Mike Williams, Gibson. Miller's not the upside play. Like, he's going to get his 6-7 catches. He's going to get 80, dare I say, even approach 100. But, I mean, you're not getting 2 scores out of him. I think the upside play might be Mike Williams in comeback mode. He looked good last week too. He did look really good. And then he said he was shaking off rust and he feels like he's fully back to himself this week. I like the Mike Williams play. Also only 4.2 on DraftKings, 4.2K. The upside is with Mike Williams and then also Gibson if he does have the coming out party. My favorite play is Scotty Miller of this group. I think he's a good bet for like 12 to 15. But if you really need a huge ceiling, I think Williams is the better bet for 2 scores. Saquon is my other RB. Oh, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. So can't bench him in standard with bonuses. No Duke Johnson today. That helps David Johnson's floor a little bit, but he wasn't that involved last week. Wasn't in the entire second half, and they still didn't pound it. DK versus Marvin Jones versus John Brown standard. Oh, man, because you got so I said it's tough to bench DK, but I think I like John Brown a little bit more against Miami this week. What about you?
I agree with that.
That's tough. But yeah, I'm going to go John Brown, Wayne. Emergency plans for Kittle. Thanks, Pat Bailey, for hoarding TNs. That's always a great strategy. If you know your opponent is screwed and you just hoard all the backups. Fucking dickhead Bailey. Not a surprise at all. As I said, Jordan Reid, a potential guy. Mo Alley Cox, as we said earlier. If you're really desperate, let us know who some of the options are, though, Nate. I can't pull up the waiver wire at the current moment, so let us know who you're considering. But Mo Alley Cox, for the most desperate of desperate streamers, could find the end zone this week. Darius Slayton or Deontay Johnson. I'm going to go Darius. Both of them leading their teams in target shares last week, but Slayton had the red zone work too. Just clearer number 1 in my opinion. Juju's definitely still the alpha there in Pittsburgh. What about you? Do you think Slayton over Deontay? That is close. I should have.
Yeah, I'm really high on Slayton though for the rest of the year. Although I do like Deontay, but yeah, you are right. And Juju, how do you feel about Juju now? I know you're really down on him, but
that's some crow I'll eat. He looked real good. That rapport, right where it left off. That's one, alongside Alvin Kamara, a couple that I just need to eat immediate crow on. I would say I was wrong about Juju, wrong about Aaron Rodgers for sure, and wrong about whoever, Alvin Kamara. Those are probably my 3 biggest crow eats of the year that I'm ready to flip on right from the start. Standard flex, Singletary or Gibson. I mean, I don't like Singletary at all, but you get Miami, and it's anybody can score against Miami.
Josh Allen just taking 15 carries last week.
I know. And Moss is going to get the goal line work.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen, again, it's a crowded situation. I do think Singletary's safer, but also if you're going standard, you're losing. I mean, the dude's not going to score touchdowns, which is most important to you. So maybe you just shoot for the moon and go Gibson there. Singletary's just so boxed in between the 20s. You better bet for 8 points for you, but I don't see him finding the end zone very often this year. Justin Reese, good Beverly fan over here. Chenault Gage Humphreys, wide receiver too. Oh boy. He's got AJB Crowder and Ruggs out to go with Tom Brown, wide receiver 1.
Isn't Ruggs playing?
Ruggs is probably going to play, yes, but a risk on Monday night nonetheless.
Oh, true.
I go Chenault here. I like Gage though a lot. Humphreys, no. But I like Gage and Chenault, and I go Chenault personally. Just looked really good last week and used in such a variety of ways. What do you like out of all these options, CJ?
I think I'm going Gage there. I feel like he's gonna have more targets than Chenault, even though Chenault will line up in the Wildcat and do a bunch of weird stuff. But I think I like Gage there.
Yeah, it'd be 12 targets last week, over 100 yards. And I think those scripts are going to be the norm, not the exception for the Falcons, especially when you face a team like the Cowboys. Standard wide receiver Slayton or Deontay, asks David Glass.
I think you just answered that.
Yeah, we did that one. Slayton was our pick. Perriman or Chenault PPR. I'm going to go Chenault there. Despite Perriman being a decent upside stab if you're desperate, I go Chenault. Fuller or Edelman. That's interesting because Fuller gets Baltimore. Obviously not the easiest of matchups, but also looked like a newfound target hog. Edelman, kind of floundered, but I think the Pats will have to take to the air a lot more against Seattle than they did against Miami. I lean, especially PPR, Edelman. But let us know the scoring, Cody.
Fuller's hardest helicopter today.
Oh, I mean, maybe, the copter pick always is interesting. Gurley got 1 touchdown, not 2 last week. I don't know if I'm buying Fuller against that secondary. I really don't think I'm on board with that right now. Again, anybody new to the broadcast, any likes and shares, so appreciated, especially if you're in any fantasy football groups, trying to hit as many possible questions as we can leading up to kickoff. Moss, A. Gibson, Jay Kelly with Justin Jackson out to start. Have to start one leading Moss. Yeah, I think Moss is the safest. The goal line work, there should be a plenty of it coming against Miami this week. Again, I do want to keep reiterating, I wouldn't be shocked for a Gibson coming out party. But if you have a good option to wait and see that,
keep speaking it into existence.
I'm going to, CJ. It's happening for all my teams here. But yeah, I go Moss. The goal line work, right into that Frank Gore role, but actually efficient there. So I like him personally. Full PPR, Lockett, E. Sanders at wide receivers, already starting Diggs and Edelman. I think I go Lockett, but yeah, it's a tough secondary. I get the concerns with the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. Sanders is definitely safer too. I go Lockett though. Lockett's
I like
good. You agree? You said?
Yeah, I'm not on DK, but I'm kind of on Lockett.
Yeah. Full PPR: Montgomery, Hines, Tony Miller, or Djax. I lean Hines here out of all these options. Steph, I go Hines over Tony Miller. I do like Anthony Miller though. Against the Giants is a great option, but
I like
Hines is so good. So give me him. Tarantino, what's up, Tailback Tino? Scotty Miller or Edelman? I go Edelman this week, despite liking Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller aspires to be Edelman. Let's get the real thing in there, in my opinion. Flex, D. Montgomery, Slayton, or Dobbins? Slayton. Yeah, you agree?
Yep. Yeah, I love Slayton this week.
I love Slayton. He looked real freaking good. Chefus, says John Hammer. Is that how you pronounce it? Is that what you're getting at?
I just thought it was Cephas.
Chefus. Who gives a shit? Either way. Snell and Connor will split touches is what Wayne is speculating, and that's what The Athletic also speculated. So I don't hate that prediction at all. Wasn't there something like Juju added Snell in fantasy leagues?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but I think Juju added Snell in fantasy leagues, which kind of goes to tell you
he's in that league with like the fantasy footballers, and it's like
exactly. And I think that league the fantasy footballers tweeted out like just so you know, Juju added Snell with like a heavy waiver bid or something like that. So something to consider. I really think Snell isn't just going to go away. I'm really nervous about Connor long term. Should I get Chefus? How is that Chefus? That can't.
No. It's Cephas. It's
Cephas.
I'm pretty sure it's Cephas.
Giuseppe, what are you just?
And it's Cephus. It's Cephas.
You're just having some fun in the mud this week, Giuseppe. Go frickin' Chenault. Stop asking us about your crap receivers. Go Chenault, Giuseppe. Just lock him in. I don't need to hear more about your crappy waiver wire. Two of these three, Ridley, Sutton, Hollywood. I think this is a no-brainer, right? CJ bench and Sutton.
Yep.
Yeah, Hollywood and Ridley just too good, and too much risk with Sutton there. Terry McLaurin or Scotty the Body?
Thanks.
Come on, it's Terry. You can't bail on Terry. He had a decent week against good coverage last week, and again, I think that I think they're going to get killed this week too, which means McLaurin's going to destroy that secondary in garbage time. That's like my favorite in DraftKings. They say, you got to stack and then run it back as well. I love doing me some Hopkins, Kyler, running it back with McLaurin at 5,900 is one of my favorite plays of the week. Good morning, Mr. Valdez. 2 from Brown, Lockett, Chark, Malcolm Brown, and David Johnson.
All right, we need to make a rule that we're not putting Hollywood Brown in questions anymore.
Yeah, no, you need one here. Marquis Brown is locked in. No more asking about him. And then I think I go Chark.
Chark, yeah.
Yeah, the clear alpha there. Lockett with the tough matchup. Most weeks it's going to be Lockett. But yeah, I go Chark there personally. Breeze or Brady, Jose Vega. I don't like Breeze without Mike Thomas. I mean, Vegas, a decent matchup. But give me Brady. You know, he's going to be motivated to really bounce back and still ended up putting up, I think, over 20 fantasy points despite kind of looking shitty and getting killed. Carolina, just a joke of a defense. So go with that. John Brown or Perriman, half PPR. Asks Blazo. Come on, John Brown. Blazo, come on. Don't get too cute here. A lot of cute freaking questions today. Like, stop getting cute, people. Streaming Money Mitch today. Am I crazy? Garoppolo and Tanny on the wire. Dylan Vargera. I think you're crazy. Yes. I mean, I'd go Tannehill. But I mean, Mitch does get the Giants, right? And like we saw 20 points last week. He does that type of shit to bad defenses. So, you know, if your gut is screaming Money Mitch, huge day, like there's the narrative for it, right? I go Tannehill against Jacksonville personally, but like you got the play. Like if you're going to play Mitch, it would be this week, right? Like who do you go from those three crap quarterbacks, CJ?
Let me see. Let's go Trubisky. And I mean,
Trubisky?
Yeah, I think so. The script is perfect last week, but I still think they're going to put up a lot of points today.
Oof, I don't know about that. I think we got this one for you, Wayne, but we go John Brown out of all these guys, but all such blow up spots. Like I hate those questions because like when you're wrong on those ones, one of those guys is going 120 and 2. It's like, man, I hope we get it right. And I think John Brown's going to be the best choice there. Fearless forecast for Stafford Jones stack. I really like it, Tunes. I think this is, I know we talked about this yesterday, but Green Bay, I think horrible secondary, great offense right now with Rodgers on that FU tour, which I think is going to lead to a lot of great games for opposing QBs, which means Stafford, I line him up this week. And I think Jones has a nice rebound. So I like that stack and I like it a lot. Deshaun Jackson, Preston Williams. Probably Preston.
I have Preston starting today in the lineup. I don't know. Are you off D-Jax now after that nothing last week?
It just wasn't good. If you're not going to do it against Washington, you know, and I like that Lane Johnson's back, so more time to throw, you imagine, for Wentz.
The Rams gave up a lot of big plays last week. Well,
they did, yeah.
Gallup got free a few times, even on that bullshit call, but just in general, he still was like available down.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I do think Lane Johnson's going to make an enormous impact across the entire line and stabilize that side. So yeah, I go Deshaun Jackson. Just skip my question then. Which one do we skip for Jeremiah? I saw a good morning from Jeremiah. I didn't see anything else.
No, me either.
I think you're losing your mind over there, Jeremiah, carrying too many chairs at church or something. Let us know what your question is, Jeremiah. Remind us. I did not purposely skip over any questions. Sometimes it does jump, and I might have missed a few. So if we missed your question, get it on in. We're not.
Also, we're not doing that like the Facebook thing anymore. You know, Facebook has like weird. For some reason it doesn't really go in chronological order.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It could be after. But.
Let us know, Jeremiah, what your question was. We'll get right back to it. Brady or Wentz? I go Brady there. Wentz did get bumped up my rankings like 5 or 6 spots with Lane back, but Brady's in my top 10 this week. I think so. What about you, Siege?
Yeah, I'm going Brady. Hate him, but roll with him.
Tannehill over Wentz, Trubisky, Teddy, Garoppolo on waivers. So you already said Trubisky's your guy. I think I'm going Wentz out of this pile, but Teddy would be my next best. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going Wentz then Teddy.
Wentz, Ted. Malcolm Brown, Sanders in the flex full PPR. Man, a lot of good questions with Malcolm Brown. Like how real was that blow up is essentially what people are asking. And as long as he's getting goal line and receiving work, it's real. But Sanders, this is like
Sanders there.
Yeah, Sanders full PPR especially. I'm smashing that. Heady Teddy says Blazo. Teddy is a fucking heady beast. I agree. Cassie asking David Johnson, Gallup at the flex for full PPR. I kind of like going Cowboys today. I think I'm going to go Gallup despite the big workload coming. Man, that's tricky though. David Johnson did look real good. And Hunt got some good receiving work against them. We know no Duke Johnson, so he's going to be in every snap.
I think David Johnson's the safer pick there.
Yeah, and of all the 3 Cowboys, Gallup saw the lowest targets last week too. I'm going to go David Johnson. I kind of talked myself into it there. Pick a wide receiver and flex. Oh, we already got this one for Katie Jagir. We ultimately went with Lamb and I think Judy is how we ended with that. Lamb Dobbins, I think was my two.
I think it was Lamb Dobbins.
Yeah, Lamb Dobbins is who I went. I think you like Judy. So that's where I lean. Antonio Gibson or James Robinson. I like Robinson today. I mean, 95 yards last week, looked pretty damn good racking them up. And that Jaguars offense looked better than expected. Damn, Jeremiah. That's the question you had. Jay Taylor or Miles Sanders? You can't get them both in. That must be a stacked backfield. I go Taylor, I think. But that's like running back 10 or running back 8 and 9 in my ranking. So there's, squeeze them both in if you can. But I go Taylor. What do you think, CJ? That's
I'm going Taylor just because Miles Sanders is coming off the injury. Maybe not like pound the ball with him all day. So yeah, I'm gonna go Taylor there. Oh, and by the way, that prop you sent me yesterday, the 55 yards, went all the way up to like 87.
Oh, we should have got it while we had it.
The biggest jump I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he had a monstrous prop line. Yeah, we should have just smashed that. Hollywood Brown, Ridley Sutton. I think we answered that one, Sarno, but you're definitely benching Brown and Ridley. Do you think Rodgers and Adams are the best stack for drafts? Because I do think Adams is the number one.
You're benching Sutton. You said you're benching Brown and Ridley.
Oh, no. You're starting Brown and Ridley. Yeah. You're benching Sutton. Yeah, sorry. Do you think Rodgers and Adams is the best stack for DK? I mean, Adams is the best receiver. So if you're stacking him, then yes. I personally, for the money, like Hopkins and Kyler a little better. This week, you can save some money to load up at other spots. And I go with that. But yeah, I mean, Rodgers and Adams are going to kill it against a just barren secondary for the Lions. So I love that one for sure. T.Y. Hilton, Will Fuller, Terry McLaurin. That is a great question. I wish I could get more in my lineup, but I kind of go Terry out of all these guys.
I think I'm going T.Y.
T.Y. That Vikings matchup is juicy.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling T.Y. this week.
You're going T.Y. blowing up? Interesting. I go Terry personally. Josh Allen, Brady, or Cam? I go Josh Allen today against Miami. We saw Cam just run all over them. They are historically very susceptible to rushing quarterbacks under Brian Flores these last 2 seasons. So I go Josh Allen, no doubt. Wolf, you finally beat the chorus teacher this week in the family league after 5 straight losses. That might be my biggest, kryptonite in any league ever is my cousin who's the chorus teacher at my school, who always beats me. And then every day the students come in and start talking shit, saying the chorus teacher beat the Wolves.
They need to sing a little song for you.
I know. Yeah, exactly. They got to get a little jingle in chorus for me. I mean, I'd love to say the monkey gets off the back this week. Injuries to Godwin doesn't help. The chorus teacher seems to have my number, but I think this is the week I break through and turn my season around. Fuck, I hate that. John Brown practiced full the last 2 days. No injury designation from Mike Clay, ESPN. Thank you, Insider, for getting us that information. Wolf, no love for CJ. Sorry, CJ. Omar gives you nothing here. The silent assassin over there. How you feeling about those Corey Davis shares you picked up? The longtime fans know I hate Corey Davis with every single fiber of my being, and I still could play him this week. I don't actually pick him up. Omar, I wanted to give the advice out there because it is a potential blow-up spot. 8 targets, 7 catches, 100 yards last week. Now gets Jacksonville with no A.J. Brown. I mean, the narrative is there. But fuck Corey Davis. I'll never put him in my own actual lineups. I just had to put it out there for other people. 4K on DraftKings too. Deontay or Paris for DFS? I mean, Deontay in general.
I assume that Deontay is much more expensive. But
yeah, if it comes down to the same price, give me Deontay. But Paris, again, big blow-up spot in my opinion. Steven, what's going on? I think you missed us last week. We missed having you. Logan Thomas or Scotty Miller? Full PPR 2-point tight end premium. That does change things. A big premium like that for tight end.
He led them in targets last week, didn't he? Or
he might have.
Maybe red zone targets. Maybe I forget.
Yeah. Logan T is a beast, but even with the premium, I think I'm going Scotty this week with no Godwin. Because I liked what I saw from Logan, but he's done nothing in his entire career. Let's see him do a couple weeks before we feel good about throwing him in over a good smash spot receiver this week. I don't know why, but I feel like Swift's going to have a big day. Probably wrong, though. So Wayne Williams tossing it out there. I disagree.
Fuck DeAndre Swift. Yeah. I had them in that huge $40,000 the Survivor League. Played the Lions.
Lions?
Well, because you only pick up with the team once. They had a 17-point lead or whatever.
I got knocked out by going with the Colts too. So like
I had the Colts, and I'm knocked out both of them.
Good job. Lockett or Paris Campbell, all capitals. I was thinking Lockett till I saw all the capitals, and now I might have to change my mind here. No, I'm going Lockett still. But I do, again, I gotta admit, I love Paris Campbell. Like anyone who benches a stud for Campbell, I get it. I do get it. Like he could have a enormous day today. But Lockett is still too into my lineup at this point. RSJ is fire. Seamus, you're fire, baby. But yes, we certainly are. Dane Lenhart, Hurst or Goddard, pronounced Goddard. Giving us all the pronunciation. Goddard. I'm going Goddard here. I do think Hurst is in a pretty solid rebound spot. Dallas was bad against tight ends last year. They're also without both middle linebackers this week. So Hurst is kind of in a sneaky smash spot. But I'm going Goddard. And me personally,
I always thought it was Goddard, little French kid from like South Dakota, wherever he's from.
It's who knows how it's pronounced. I go the Eagles guy. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, you can't take him out of your lineup right now. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah, again, Hurst though in a great spot this week. But yeah, Goddard, my personal play. I'm calling him Goddard because he's just God at the tight end position now. Stafford, Rivers, Corey Davis, Marvin Jones. I'm going to go Stafford and Jones. I'm stacking that up. Love the Rivers stream if you're desperate, but you're not desperate if you have Stafford, Elias. So give me Stafford, stack him with Jones. If you have a good option, don't play Corey Davis is a good rule of thumb, and Jones is a good option. Can I hate? Oh, that was the question we missed. Can I hate drop Mixon yet? I thought I pulled that up because it made me chuckle when I saw it, Jeremiah. Yeah, send him on pack and get him to the waiver wire. No, you got to hold on to him. He sucks.
He's another one. He's kind of like Eckler. He played a lot of snaps. He still touched the ball a lot. It's just unlucky, really.
It's so frustrating, too, because he looked so good as a receiver on the touches he got. He made way more people miss than Giovanni Bernard, but then Bernard gets all the 2-minute snaps, all the garbage time. It sucks.
He had a rushing touchdown, too, that was called back. But
yeah.
I think from like the 10-yard line.
Yeah. Very frustrating for Mixon because Bernard just kind of went away at the second half of last year. That's what we assumed. You pay Mixon this monster contract. Like, why is he not an every down player every single fucking week? I don't get it. But ultimately, yeah, you got to keep riding the gravy with Mixon and just hoping it pans out here. DraftKings, Stafford in the shootout or Rivers against that shit show Vikings D? I mean, I think Stafford's the same price as Kyler Murray this week. So my answer to this is why not Kyler? But if you need one of those two, I'm going to go Stafford. But again, at the same price, it's Kyler. It's got to be Kyler. Who's your DraftKings quarterback this week, CJ?
I was somehow able to stack Hollywood and Lamar Jackson.
You did Hollywood Lamar stack?
Yeah. Even though I'd never pay up for quarterbacks, but for some reason it worked out this week where I got everyone else that I liked. And
to me, if you're paying up, you're going for Turf and Tyreek Mahomes. First time ever together. I think that's going to be lightning. I think you're getting 152 early from Tyreek. I think Mahomes goes for 4. We're getting the bananas Mahomes day. It's going to definitely happen. The only risk with Mahomes is the Chargers aren't going to keep pace. So it's how early does he get rested? Or how much do they want to just pound the Chargers into submission? But yeah, I think Hilaire's going to light up that Turf too. Only 7,200 on draft.
I can't wait to watch them again.
He's so fun. He is so fucking fun. James Robinson or Malcolm Brown at the flex. I go Malcolm. More valuable receiving touches come in there. I gotta acknowledge this comment. By the way, I picked up Davis in 2 leagues and needed a shower afterwards. That's just fantastic stuff. I mean, yeah, you probably need to just turn it all the way up to boiling and just surge all your skin off, get a layer of skin off you if you're picking up Corey Davis. Deontay or Lamb PPR. I mean, Deontay is the smart play. I just really think this is Lamb's blow-up week. So I actually personally have Lamb ahead of Deontay, but that's not the smart play. It's just a gut call. So you want to trust my gut? Go Lamb. You want to trust the stats and then what you should do? It's Deontay. Are you going Deontay or Lamb here?
I'd probably just be safe and go with Deontay, but I do love Lamb this week.
It's the blow up week. It's coming. I'm telling you. CJ, you're the man too. Can't have Neo without Morpheus. So who's who? Am I Neo and he's Morpheus? Like,
I don't even know what that is.
It's the Matrix. Remember, like, Neo's, what's his fucking name? Keanu Reeves. And Morpheus is like the master that gets him into the Matrix. So, like, I think he's saying you created the world and now I'm just like the beast. I don't know. Explain yourself, Omar. I'm kind of trying to understand that one. Higbee or Ingram? I go. My family trash talk just started. It popped up on my screen. Wolfie's already making excuses for his loss to the chorus feature on his broadcast. You little fuckers. Oh man. It is a kryptonite of all kryptonites. Literally my worst record of all time of all opponents is against the chorus teacher. It's tough. Higbee or Ingram? I'm gonna go Ingram there. I mean,
Ingram bounce back?
Which way are you going? Is Everett in this week?
I don't know. Let me see.
He was, check that. Either way, I think I go Ingram. I think it's a nice rebound spot. He's projected to be very low owned on DraftKings. So
yeah, he's expected to play. Everett is.
Yeah, I think Ingram, Chicago was weak against tight end last year. We saw Hawkinson rumble against him week 1. I think Ingram has a nice rebound, and I definitely go Ingram over
Yeah,
Hearn.
I think a lot of that was Micah Fitzpatrick too. He's going to be. They're going to be so tough against tight ends this year. They
are. They're going to be brutal. Pittsburgh is a great D. I'm thinking Ingram's a nice buy low. If I'm starting to get these types of questions, give me Evan Ingram as a good buy low. Money League, I've got Mixon, CEH, Jay Taylor, Miles Sanders, all starting in my lineup with Swift and Moss on the bench. Good stable there. I think Mixon might be the one finding the bench of those 3 running backs more often than not. Let's see what Sanders does this week, because you probably already played Mixon. So I think Miles Sanders is who I benched there, Jeremiah, now that you've already gone Mixon. But I think rest of season, you're most likely going to have Mixon on the bench with those guys. That's pretty stacked stable. Ingram or Jonnu, asks Craig Sarno. I'm going Ingram. I know we recommended him over Fant last week, and that was a bad call. Whoever asked that one, sorry. But Ingram, I really think, not good. Ingram, I want to reiterate, freak athlete, in a Jason Garrett offense that threw 140 times minimum to Jason Witten for 5 straight seasons when Garrett was the actual play caller. It is a staple of his offense, and I think Ingram is going to benefit eventually, is starting as early as this. So give me Ingram there. PPR, Fant or Gronk, or go pick up Gesicki and play him. I like Fant, definitely. Gronk, he just wasn't even a factor last week. He's just going to be a touchdown or bust guy all year, whereas Fant looked incredible after the catch, down the seams, very athletic guy. And, we just said Pittsburgh, brutal spot for tight ends. But that's kind of where I'm leaning is Fant over Gronk. Those are the options.
Gronk,
and I probably might pick up Gesicki. I might pick up Gesicki to have over Gronk just to stash. What are your thoughts on this tight end situation for Diego?
Yeah, I don't know. Gronk, he didn't. I thought he was going to look good and refreshed and like kind of like himself again. He didn't. He just looked slow and like
exactly.
He's cooked.
I think he's
I think I would. Yeah, I think I would go Gesicki over Gronk too, and would rather roster him in general.
Yeah. Cheers, Jake Knight. Great to see you. Welcome to the tailgate. Craig Sarno. CJ, does DJ still owe you money?
That was my old boss at Pacini's. Just closed shop without telling anyone and ran away with me and Craig's money.
Brutal. You guys got to go hunt him down and break some legs.
But,
Enforcer CJ coming out on this Sunday. Go hunt down his money. Thanks to Craig Sarno's reminder here. All righty, folks. Well, that is everything at this point. So if we got no more questions, 12:13. I'll rip through all the news real fast one last time to give any last minute questions a chance to come in case you tuned in late. Here's all the news.
But I do have some prop bets if you want to talk about those.
Oh, did you get those in the Google Doc? Yes, let's absolutely.
No, I didn't put them in. I was just actually doing it during the show. But
CJ props of the week. So that's actually better than hitting all the news. So I'm gonna add a banner here. CJ's props of the weeks, our new gambling content. Let's hear about some of these props, CJ.
All right, I got Deshaun Jackson, longest reception over 20 yards.
If he catches a ball, it's going to be over 20 yards. That's not something I'd hammer, but yeah, if he catches a ball, he's going to have a 20-yarder for sure.
Miles Sanders over 21 receiving yards after the Boston Scott uselessness last week. Mostert over 63 rushing yards. That kind of made me nervous.
Easy.
Yeah. And then this one was crazy to me. Nyheim Hines receiving yards over 23.
What did he have last week? Like 80?
Yeah, and then Hines over 3.5 receptions. He's going to get at least 10 targets, in my opinion.
Definitely. Hammer any Hines props this week. Yep, all about it.
And so I did say that Taylor went up to 85. I guess that was on DraftKings, but on mine, it's at 61. So I'm going over on that.
One's a smash. Even 85 is probably going to hit, but it was at 56.5 yesterday, which was the hammer of all hammers. Definitely.
Yeah, those are my top. Was it 6? I think.
Top 6 props. I'm trying to think of who I'm wicked high on this week. So you could what do you use for your player props, by the way?
Well, I have a local book, so the lines aren't great. Like DraftKings obviously has the best, but I mean in Massachusetts you can't.
Yeah, so. A good tool we recommend too. Elliot Chris came on our podcast this summer, and they have a prop shop tool over at fadethenoisefantasy.com. I think it's ftnfantasy.com is the URL. It's really cool. You just type in a player name. This is how I found the Taylor prop yesterday, and they'll give you the best odds. They'll list them all, and then that way you can see, okay, this book has Taylor at 56.5, but then FanDuel's book has him at 65. So let me go for the 56.5 one. So I like that a lot. I'd be intrigued to know what Campbell's props are this week, Paris Campbell. I bet you he's got some intriguing ones.
4.5 receptions and 52.5 yards.
That's like tricky though, you know.
That's a good line for both.
What if Pittman becomes the guy this week? Or I don't know, Pittman might be out actually. I know he was dinged up this week. I'm trying to think of some other guys though, like who I'm consensus higher on. I can pull up the old rankings, but it looks like
I only have the 1 o'clock games right now. But
what's that?
I only have the 1 o'clock props right now. My book's really slow on props for some reason. But.
Yeah, I did see. I think Brandon Ayuk. I know, completely random ass name to shout out, but they have nobody this week at wide receiver or tight end. He's full. He's ready to go. Love him at 4,300 on DraftKings. Might toss him in my lineup over like a Preston Williams. And I saw his receiving prop was like, I think 23.5 on DraftKings.
Mine's 36.5. But
I think he could smash that against the Jets, but it is kind of risky because it's his first NFL action of all time. Yeah. Too much CBD oil for Gronk. He's all done. Tune's very sound analysis there. It's definitely the CBD oil that's killing him here. The Gronk move is like accepting you have to put your dog down.
It is true, actually.
He's like crying, and Gronk's like sitting there, and CJ's got the shotgun, like, sorry, boy. Shoots Gronk in the back of the head. I like it. I just looked at my lineup. Also have the option to play Robinson and Malcolm Brown and sit Davis all together. You know me, Omar. You're not playing Davis if you have anything, in my opinion. And I think I go Malcolm Brown. And so you could go I would get Robinson in over Davis. I would. Safer, in my opinion. The Raheem Mostert receiving prop is a joke. What was his Mostert? Do you know?
Mostert. No, that was rushing yards with 63. I actually don't have a receiving prop for him.
Interesting. Ryan Patrick Smith, Jordan Reid, 2,900. DraftKings is actually 2,600, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, I love that all day. Absolutely into it.
Do you like Reid or Mo Alley Cox on DraftKings?
I'd go Reid first. Yeah. I mean, again, Jets defense and nobody else to throw to. I could see Reid, but Reid's also going to probably have a concussion first play of the game. So like, sure. I'm going him everywhere and he's just going to fucking get hurt and break my heart again. But it's only 2,600 anyways. So, you know, I like that. Mo Alley Cox, very good, interesting name to throw out there. Another NFL Sunday, Watkins or T.Y. Hilton. I go Hilton in that Minnesota smash spot. If Watkins goes and gets it done again, you know, are you going to be a believer, CJ, if you see 2 straight weeks of a Watkins blow up? Because we've never seen him really do that while he's with the Chiefs. Still no?
I'm just still high on Hardman, even though last week was really strange. But I still think he ends up taking over that number 2 role. Kind of.
And I'm glad you brought him up too. I saw Hardman get dropped in a lot of leagues. I've picked him up everywhere I've seen him dropped because you're not using him right now, but you're picking him up in case something happens to Watkins or happens to Tyreek. he's going to go fucking bananas if and when he becomes a starter in this offense. So he's a stash and hold, in my opinion, for sure. But yeah, we both go Ty Hilton. Vikings secondary. You can't pass up on that. Jair. Oh yeah, Jair's a classic long-term fan here. You got to go Ty there. It was 11.5. I heard it on XM about an hour ago. Oh man, 11.5. He just needs one catch against the Jets to get 11.5. He'll hit that. I like that one for sure. Came in late. Big Dom. What's up, brother? Love the content. Marvin Jones Jr. or Traquan Smith. Got to go Marvin Jones. I think he really does rebound nicely this week, Dom. I think that's going to be a good garbage time, just getting peppered. Traquan, like, I get it, but like, when has he done anything that we can trust? No way.
Man, he's been at the end of my roster the last 2 years, and it's just disaster.
Just never happens. Eats a bench spot. So that's what we got for those. We hit CJ's favorite props of the day. Let me, a couple people saying they got in late. Let me just rip you through all the news in 3 minutes or less. The fastest 3 minutes in Roto Street. Miles Sanders and Lane Johnson are both locked in, which gives Wentz a nice boost up to QB 15. Sanders, in my opinion, a must start for week 1, especially with the improved line. James Conner practices in full, but Benny Snell, a very big concern. The Athletics saying it's going to be a 1A, 1B situation. And Snell, I just think, looked a lot better than Conner. You can't trust him this week. Do not have Conner in any of my lineups. A.J. Brown is going to be sidelined and possibly even beyond week 2 with a bone bruise. Corey Davis, potential streamer, 4K on DraftKings, out there in 17% of leagues entering today. Saw 7 catches on 8 targets and 100 yards. I always just hate recommending Corey Davis, though. Makes me want to puke. And as Omar Foster said, you got to shower if you're using him. Chris Godwin is out. Scotty the Body, a better stream, in my opinion, than Corey Davis. We're going to lock up that slot role. Already showed some good chemistry with Brady. Mike Evans, though, my smash play on DraftKings, 6,400. I think he's going berserk against Carolina. Crowder's out, which gives Perriman some streaming appeal. But honestly, you're probably pretty desperate if you need Perriman. But as like Christiania, if you need huge upside, guy could see 10 targets today. Kittle's out. You got to go Jordan Reid, in my opinion, as the direct backup. Mo Alley Cox, another option if somebody plucked Reid from you. Devontae Parker is going to play, but facing Tre'Davious White has to be on your benches with a hamstring re-aggravation a possibility. Mo Alley Cox, we mentioned, has some streaming appeal because Frank Reich loves peppering his tight ends, and he's the last man standing because Jack Doyle is out. And then you got a banged-up Broncos. Sutton's in. Lindsay's out, but I'm not starting Sutton. I want to wait and see, and let's see that shoulder respond against a tough secondary of Pittsburgh. Kenny Golladay is going to be out. Marvin Jones, a big smash play this week. I think he rebounds despite disappointing you last week. Ruggs is practicing, probably going to play, but still risky to wait out for on Monday Night Football against a very good secondary. Thomas is going to be out, but there's optimism that he will return quickly. So he made a good buy low, and if you can somehow still sneak him out, a decent one to toss out there. James Conner or Nyheim Hines in the full PPR. I'm going Hines. Definitely going Hines this week. Are you in agreement there, CJ?
Not. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Hines for sure. Can't wait for Herndon to get 12 targets and 2 receptions. Sounds about right.
That's the AJ Green we call it now.
Exactly. Oh, that was just puke worthy. Guys, one more question. Jair, ask as many as you want. We're signing off as soon as the questions stop. And this is our last one right now. One more question. Allen or Watson for QB? I got to go Josh Allen. I love the Miami spot. I love how this offense looked. 4 wide receiver sets, a bunch, lots of pre-snap motions, 44 attempts despite leading comfortably the entire way. I think this Bills offense is going to be dangerous all year, even when you get frustrated because Allen misses a pure open 60-yard bomb. He's going to come back with another one too. So I like him. You go Allen over Watson this week, CJ?
Yeah, I have Watson in a lineup, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Baltimore is just a tough defense, and Watson just did not look great.
No, he saved himself with some of that garbage at the end of the game, but other than that, I just wasn't
rushing in for a touchdown. Otherwise, he would have had like a 14-point day. And this narrative's a whole lot different about him. And we got, should I start Preston Williams in the flex over James White with Parker now playing? Also have Ayuk. That's a tricky one. Oh, we got a few more coming, and keep them coming, guys. We'll go until they stop. So yeah, keep all these last minute questions coming in. A lot coming in from YouTube here, coming in hot. I like it. I go. That's a tough flex question. Full PPR White's the floor play. I think he's going to be a lot more active this week, but Parker does get the secondary coverage most likely. I really think Ayuk's going to blow up too, though, Omar. I'm debating between Ayuk, Parker, Gibson, and Akers myself. I think
I'm going Preston there, I think.
You like the big-bodied Preston Williams?
Yeah.
I go White for the floor, personally. But if you are an underdog, I think Ayuk has the biggest ceiling of them all. Battle of the Browns, Malcolm or John in full PPR, leaning John, and I lean with you, tailback Tino. But that is close. Do you consider benching John Brown for Malcolm, CJ?
Nope.
Yeah, I agree there too. John Brown or Corey Davis? John Brown, no doubt. John Brown or Corey Davis? John Brown, no doubt. John Brown or Corey Davis? 3 questions in a row. And I'm going to say John Brown every single time. Never Corey Davis if you have a good option. James Conner, Benny Snell, or Swift at flex? Oh, Sebastian, you're going to make me sick on my Sunday morning. I don't want to play Conner, but if those are the options, I got to. I'm nervous about the banged up line. I'm nervous about an early exit. I'm nervous about Snell being a 1B to his 1A, but he is the starter, right? I mean, oh, God. We got Wayne Williams on record saying Swift's going to have a big day too. I don't like any of this, though. What do you think, CJ? This is
I'd try to get one of those receivers like you talked about, like the Scotty Millers or Paris Campbell or someone like that.
I mean, yeah, I think I'd even rather have, dare I say, Perriman in over Connor. I don't know. That might be drawing the line. But, yeah, like if Scotty Miller's there, maybe even Corey Davis. That's what
I would just hope that Connor gets a touchdown.
Yeah, I'd probably go Connor and just hope they kind of, get him going after last week's fiasco. Done now. I think that's all I got. You guys rock. Keep up the awesome work, fellas. Omar, keep on joining. We love having you. Appreciate all the great questions. Hollywood, Hines, or Chark? You got to go Hollywood. As we said earlier, he's kind of entered that must start, must smash. Even though those are good options, and I do love Chark. Hollywood over him, in my opinion. Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Am I wrong to want to take Seattle beating the spread versus the Pats?
They are going to bend the Patriots over tonight.
You're betting on the Patriots?
No, they're going to bend the Patriots over tonight. It's going to be an absolute massacre, I think.
Well, I don't understand. What the fuck are you saying? Say it again.
No, I said Seattle's going to bend the Patriots over tonight. I think it's going to be a smash, by the way.
I don't think so. I'm the optimistic Patriots fan here, so I think we're going to control some clock here. I really like it. I don't know. I don't think I'm doing that. That bet there.
It's only. I think it's at 4. I want to say.
The Pats are at 8. The Pats are 8.
No. The spread's at 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not touching that game. I'm not. I think the Seattle offense looks great, but that was against Atlanta. Like, let's taper back expectations. I think it becomes a dogfight, and I like the Pats in a dogfight. I can't wait tonight. This is a huge measuring stick game, in my opinion.
The Patriots front seven still sucks, in my opinion. I think they're going to get smashed.
Carson could run all over it. That's intriguing. But yeah, no, I don't want to touch that game, Tunes. That's not one that I'm feeling great about myself. When do you smash the panic button as a Mixon owner? You can't really ever, which is the frustrating part because he is so good and the offense shows some nice signs. The line is just god awful though. Gio Bernard's involvement, god awful. When are they going to finally look at the fucking film? It took them a half a season, and then they finally woke up last year, and they talked all offseason about being awake this year, about how good they were when they fed Mixon, and then they start and do the exact fucking opposite. I don't know. It is so annoying, Dom. I'm with you, but you just can't panic. Certainly not yet. Maybe by week – I give Mixon – he's kind of like a 5-week leash in my opinion at least. He's just too good. What about you? Are you smashing any type of panic button or
No, I still like his snap percentages, the amount of carries. I think he'll end up figuring it out.
Yeah. We got I don't know what that means. Hey.
Did you do the John Brown, Corey Davis?
John Brown or Corey. Yeah, he asked that like 8 times and it was John Brown every fucking time. You guys are the shit. Yeah, damn straight we are, David. But yes, thank you. I appreciate it. We got all this locked in and ready for some New England IPAs. Yes, I got to go get my beer actually to crack with you. I'll be right back. CJ, why don't you get the why don't you test? Can you pull up questions? I didn't know if the guests can or not. And I'll be right back.
No, I cannot. Let me see. I mean, I can see the questions, but I can't pull them up on the screen.
All righty. Nothing like a 12, noon New England IPA. Got to shout out the boys over at Channel Marker, making an unbelievable one. Beacon of Light, Beverly, Massachusetts. A honey oat cream New England IPA. Unbelievable, David. If you ever make your way to the North Shore, I'll give you some good beers. Can
you buy those online yet?
You can. I don't know if they're doing the online store anymore. You got to go in to go get them. Yeah. They got some great sours there too. Any news on him getting benched in addition to the ankle? I've heard whispers that he was benched, and you could see him yelling to the sideline after a couple runs.
That was the Connor thing I was talking about.
Yeah, that's what Foster's saying. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, I'm not an insider here, but to me, it might have been more, why are we going to force him in here in a game we're controlling the entire way? Like, let's not have him get aggravated and leave this game more hurt. I don't think it was so much of a benching. Snell just gave them no reason to go back to Connor. But I also think that therein lies the risk. I don't think Connor's going to – I think Connor gets the start today, but they're going to rotate Snell in. And if he's hotter early, I don't think they go back to Connor yet again. So that's why I have no interest in James Conner at all today. Diggs, Marvin Jones, or Montgomery, flex PPR. I go Diggs there pretty solidly. I love Diggs. He looked real good. That rapport was on point. I just love the Buffalo offense, and Miami looked awful. There's some good options there. Not Montgomery, though. You going Diggs over Jones?
yeah, of course.
I like this, Sebastian. I definitely go Scotty over Connor, Swift, or Snell. I feel pretty secure that he's going to go and get himself nice 6 catches, 80 yards, like a very good floor play, Scotty Miller today. Love him. We got upside is Sanders Goddard combo, still better than the Sanders Hurst, even though Sanders and Goddard are both on the Eagles.
So there's a lot to unpack there.
A lot to unravel here for you, Dane. This is Dane, our Dane, right?
Yeah.
Chase Market Gains. Cheers, Dane. I thought that was you. I go, if you're shooting for upside, then it's never great to have the same team unless you're stacking the quarterback with a weapon, because there's only so many points that can be, compiled by one team, unless it's like 2 awful options that you're considering. If you're really shooting for the moon, there's a Sanders Hurst would probably be more upside. But that being said, think Goddard's a great player, and could see both him and Sanders having a big day, and Hurst just doing nothing. After last week, I think I got to go Sanders Goddard, my opinion. Planning on coming up to do a visit in the spring. That'd be awesome. Whereabouts you from, David? That'd be great. We've got a few guys like Jordan T. Where is Jordan, by the way? Fucking show up to the broadcast. We got to DM that.
I was going to say, is he even in the DMs anymore? I feel like I haven't seen his name in a while.
He better show the fuck up. We got Steven back today, but then he'll usually ask like 18 questions, and he only asked 1 today. But yes, come on up. Tell us where you're coming from, as long as obviously all this shit is fucking over. But there's a new hotel in Beverly right across from where we live, so you
Salem
come up.
A bunch of places too.
Yeah, if everything's opened up, we can definitely show you a good time, David. Having a Whaler New England IPA from Canton Brewing from New Jersey. Cheers. New England IPAs are the shit, but we got some great ones that you can come. He's from Roxbury, New Jersey. Yeah, come on up, man. That would be a blast if you can make it. Is Mike Ingram, I'm guessing you're saying Mark Ingram, Eddie, doing anything this season, or should I drop his ass and move on? I love the fucking rage. You know what? If it helps your heart, a good hate cut can be great for the soul, but I think it's a little too early to give Ingram the hate cut. I will say, if in this week or definitely by next week, if Dobbins is by far the locked in goal line guy, I don't see a rotational back like Ingram seeing 30% of the snaps, only getting between the 20s work, really being worth holding on to. This is a week to see. Let's see if he gets goal line touches again, and how they bounce back. But I could be hate cutted. I faded. What were you going to say? Do you disagree, or what do you think?
No, I'm not going to cut him yet. That backfield, it is weird, but I'm just going to wait on him, I guess, if I had him.
It's too good of an offense to bail on. It's going to be one of the highest scoring offenses every single week. So if he regains,
it'll probably be really annoying for a while. But
yeah, it's a matter of the goal line touches. If he can regain any type of goal line share, then he's worth hanging on to. Check out the color of that one, by the way, Mr. David. Nice, creamy, hazy New England.
Hey, can you give me a Robbie Anderson-esque prediction this week?
So who could blow up today? Like I think it's Ayuk.
Like an under-owned guy.
I think Ayuk's going to be unowned and could be that blow up right in that same price range as everybody. But give me even more than him at 4.2. I think Mike Williams is going to have a 2-touchdown day. If you go Mahomes and then you go Tyreek, fast turf, I think those two light it up. And then as the run it back there, I think Mike Williams is a 4.2K play. Makes a ton of sense on DraftKings. So that might be the bold one today. I'm trying to think if there's any like running backs. I think Ronald Jones might score 2 touchdowns at 5,200, a great price point as well. But you know what? CeeDee Lamb is my guy today. This is going to be CeeDee Lamb day. I'm on record here. I think he has his coming out party. A few rookies. I could see a Gibson coming out party too. But the one, if I'm going to plant a flag like I did with Anderson last week, it's CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb goes 130, goes 7 catches, leads the team in receiving and targets, and has just a monster against Atlanta. So that's my bold one. What about you, CJ? You got any big bold ones?
Our 35. 135. That cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that bold, but I think Jonathan Taylor goes for like 150, 2 touchdowns.
Who's 150 and 2?
Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it's obviously it's not that bold, but he's going to be insane today. I can't wait. I really
like just like a coming out party for a lot of rookies today. Taylor, Lamb, maybe Gibson. So
they all looked like they belonged last week too. None of them really like exploded, but they all look like they belong.
Exactly. When they got the ball, they looked real good, especially Taylor, the receiving work. Like you see that, and now you know he's getting all the carries, or most of them at least. This could be a feasting. He's only 5,700 on DraftKings. Going to be the chalk, but I think that's nuts. Chalk. Yeah, for sure. As a Bills fan, I love how much you love the Bills offense. Noah's liked their offense in a long time. It's true. I mean, they have not given you much hope. And there's so many things about Josh Allen that will frustrate you, but the dude goes fucking all out every play. Like, I like it. I really like him. And I don't get like, they had this debate on Pardon My Take, one of my favorite post-Sunday pods to listen to. Like, why is everyone still saying Darnold's going to be the better player and the better pro? Like, sure, he was more fundamentally sound and tall, like all that shit. But like at this point, we've seen a guy go out, ball out, and win. And we've seen a guy, yes, strapped to Gase. Yes, the weapons are bad. The line is bad. Everything's working against him. But like Allen, even when things weren't perfect for him, was still going and fucking like always in games and just like really just fun to watch. I never put on a Jets game and I'm excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I kind of hope he finds his way out of the Jets. I really do like him as a talent, but he is in like the worst possible situation you can ever be in. I mean, they're probably, if they get the number 1 pick, are they bailing on Darnold and going large?
I think they do. And I'm with you, CJ, more so than like, people sucking off Rosen. Like, let's get Rosen a real chance. Rosen's a bitch. I hate Rosen. He had his chance. He was in bad situations, but I will never believe in him. I do really hope Darnold ends up going to a team next offseason. I'm trying to think like where there might be QB vacancies next year. Well, you think off the top of the head, but like,
what about the Jags? Do you think would you give up on Minshew? Minshew's a legitimate quarterback.
Dude, 19 for 20. Like what? Looked unbelievable. Like looked really, really good.
But if you have the number 1 overall pick, like, are you gonna pass up on Lawrence? It seems like the what situation was that recently? I forget it was. It was like a
Tyler Murray and Rosen, right? Like,
yeah, true.
And that's the closest comp. So, but Rosen sucked. So it wasn't like Rosen was doing anything that made it a difficult decision. So I respect the Cardinals for making that sunk cost and going for it. Minshew's giving you some reason to pause. I don't think the Jags end up with the number 1 pick this year. I think Minshew's going to keep kind of, keeping them in games. He just has those intangibles too, coached by a legendary Drew Hollingshead under Mike Leach, our favorite quality control guy, Drew Hollingshead and QB coach there. I love Minshew. I'm all about it. If I'm the Jags and if you have number 1, you can't pass up Trevor Lawrence ever. You have to go him or Fields too at number 2. I think you got to get those guys no matter what, but Minshew could give you pause. I think that's
there is like a generational left tackle coming out from Oregon, but so I would love him in Cincy though if that happened.
Yeah, that would be sweet. They get the 2 anchors there. Check this out, fellas. Do I start Stafford and Jones Jr. to have the stack or keep Josh Allen at QB? I think Josh Allen going all in on Josh. I'm facing Josh Allen today too, which sucks because Dave Mock's team blows otherwise. You bag of dirt. If you're watching this, can't wait to make those Mexican cheeks shake later. You're gonna salsa for me, baby. I love you, Dave. But we're gonna dance today. Josh Allen's the player that scares me the most on his roster. I really think there's a 30-point day. He had 30 points last week, and it's not like Miami's that much better than the Jets. So I go Josh Allen definitely. Rocks. Oh, that's where you're from, David. Good stuff. Can't wait till we can have visits. It's gonna be so fun when we meet some of these guys. When they all come to visit. It's gonna be awesome.
It sucks we're not gonna be able to do the live events this year.
I know it's too bad. I'm missing old planners and all those places that we can.
I wonder if we could talk to old planners into doing that outdoor thing there. I mean, obviously not in December or something, but maybe in a few weeks.
They did say they'd be happy to have us along. So interesting. As a Bills fan, I love how much you love that. He already commented that in. Stephon Diggs, Marvin Jones Jr., Montgomery flex PPR.
I think you keep going over the same questions.
I think that we might be
you're going up. At least on my screen, you're going up.
Interesting. But Diggs, yeah, you're right. We already answered these. What's the bear doing? What's he talking about? Oh, Robbie Anderson. Yeah.
That was the fun. I couldn't stop watching that video. It makes me laugh every single time.
Unbelievable clip. Hey fellas, have Thielen and D-Hop for Bowden. Oh, this is I think this is Seamus's brother. I feel kind of conflicted giving Seamus's brother any advice here. That's our guy. No, we'll give anybody that tunes in advice. Thielen and D-Hop obviously locked in completely. I respect that he's not like start 3, Thielen, D-Hop. Like they're locked in. Thank you. That's the right way to ask a question, Bowden. Need a third receiver. Have Marvin Jones, John Brown, Scotty Miller, Corey Davis. Can flex a second one, but add Singletary to the flex. So it's not going to be Singletary in the flex. We're going to go one of these receivers. And I think I'm going for the blow-ups of John Brown and Marvin Jones personally. Scotty Miller, a good floor, but I really think John Brown and Marvin Jones have that 120, 150, 2 TD, like huge day matchups on the slate. So I like putting them both in there. Let's see if one, if not both, hit it. But what about you, CJ? Did you bench either of Jones or Brown for the safety of Miller or what?
No, I wouldn't. I'm fine with Marvin Jones and John Brown.
We're acting like Scotty Miller's this like sure fucking thing. Like it's Scotty Miller too. I feel so good about him, but like he could just go 2 catches for 10
Are you
yards.
benching John Brown for Scotty Miller's high floor?
Yeah, right. Seriously. Gase will ruin Darnold. Gase is, as Tailback Tino calls him.
I love this call, by the way.
That is awesome. Yeah, Rivers. That's the team I was trying to think of. Like, this is clearly a team itching for a quarterback. It would be Darnold to the Colts. That's could
even be Tampa. Like once Brady's done.
Tailback. You tweeted that out this week. That's what had it planted in my mind. It was like, where was he thinking of? It was definitely Darnold to the Colts. Gase is a talent. I want to remember the exact line you had on our broadcast. Tailback. Like talent, like sucker or ruiner or something. But yeah, he's the worst. Matt Ryan or Cam Newton? Definitely Ryan. Shootout against the Cowboys. That one's going back and forth. Love it. I'm thinking Ryan. Yes, agreed. Give this guy one New England IPA and see what happens. I know. I'm just a lightweight Dom. No, I know. Dom, by the way, I think Dom's trying to sneakily get me to plug his podcast, but a great craft beer podcast from Dom Rebello. If you want to put that in the comments, Dom, to have people check it out. I know you know your beers. I look forward to the day when we can pound one back together. So cheers to you.
I'll be on the White Claw episode.
I know. Then they dropped us, right? As sponsors. We had them last year, and they dropped us. Oh man. Well, that's all we got, folks. Awesome tailgate. I'm glad we kind of hung around a little bit because here we go. Sebastian keeping the questions from YouTube coming. So again, at 12:50, we definitely sign off. But if you guys get more, fucking send them. Let's go. Let's keep going. I don't know if you got to run anywhere, CJ. If your lineups are all set.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Rodgers or Deshaun, it's got to be Rodgers, like a no-brainer in my opinion, which is after how down I was starting the year on him. Might seem kind of crazy, but Rodgers looks so fucking good. The FU Rodgers tour is amazing. Montgomery or Lazard at flex. I got to go Lazard because I just never go Montgomery. Montgomery, Davis, like those are the guys I almost never say.
I think I'm going Montgomery there. I'm drawing the line there.
No secondary for the Lions. Rodgers gonna go crazy. I'll go Lazard. Give me Lazard. But CJ, the safe play is Montgomery.
Yeah.
And it's the Giants. Like I keep forgetting he's facing the Giants. Like Montgomery's going to run into like 3 touchdowns today. But I'll never put Montgomery in a lineup. I'm so done with that motherfucker. So Dom, if you're still with us, we got listeners asking the beer podcast name. I've listened to it quite a few times. I don't know why I can't remember it. It's been a crazy offseason, but you do have a great show. So feel free, Dom, if you're still with us, to plug your show. I'm happy to get it on there. Gase equals allergic to talent and personality. That's what the line was. Yes. Allergic to any talent. He will make sure to ruin anything that comes his way. Totally agree, tailback Tino. Absolutely. The worst coach by far in the NFL. I think one of the easiest hammers of the offseason was like the over-under wins on the Jets was like 5.5 or 6.5.
Yeah.
They might go 0-16. They are the worst team there is.
Dude, that depth chart today is despicable. Like they would have a tough time in the SEC.
Tino, let me know if you think, as a Jets sad, fucking useless, pathetic Jets fan, I'm just gonna rub that shit in as long as they suck, for as long as I know you, Tino. But what are your thoughts on LaMichael Pirine? I think that's his name. We got Bell out for like the next 3-4 weeks. Is this guy Pirine worth a stash for owners? Let us know your thoughts and feelings there. And Dom, plugging out, check it out. 3 beers in. So I imagine you're still ripping those, right, Dom? I have not been on in a while, I'll admit it, but would love to check that out. 3 beers in is a podcast by our guy Danger Close. This is Danger Close on I don't know if you remember him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On Twitter with like the pink donuts.
Yeah.
That's Dom Rebello. Yeah, always get some good classic comments in for us. So Dom, thank you. Appreciate that. Check out the 3 beers in if you like a good beer podcast. Alrighty, folks. Well, right as I'm about to sign off, Sebastian always sneaks one in on us. Chris Herndon or Chisecki with a lot of tears. Tears are deserved for that question. Oh man, I mean, who else is there?
I think I like Herndon. I guess.
Like, who else are they going to throw to today? So yeah, I go like that. I go Herndon there. Looks like Parker a full go for Miami. So Hurst or Gesicki. I don't know what Parker would necessarily have to do. I guess he's drawing some defensive attention for Gesicki, but I like Hurst a lot against that Dallas D. I think that could be a potential smash spot with no linebackers. Gage had a huge week. If it remains the wide receiver side, the IPAs, Dom, you can give me some shit, but they're starting to bubble up in the burping here. I apologize. But I go Hurst Dane. I really think this is going to be a nice game for Hurst. A nice 6-catch, 80-yard TD day with no tight ends, no linebackers to cover him this week. The Jets make me happy to be a Browns fan. And that's a pretty low fucking bar, Omar. Not to shit on everybody on this podcast, but that, I guess, is the benefit of being a Patriots fan, is you can just fucking shit on everybody, you losers. No, I'm just kidding. The Browns suck. But that what
are your thoughts about the Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb night on Thursday?
We missed an opportunity, I think, to tweet out our article. I wrote one titled, "Both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt can feast for the Browns." And the article essentially said, I like Chubb at his cost, mid-second round, but I love Hunt in the 5th round because I think they could be hand in hand in value. And so far, Hunt has outscored Chubb. And I don't know that this trend goes away. Like, you'll be okay in the right game flow for Chubb, and he'll blow up. I called it on the Thursday night broadcast. I said Chubb's going for 2 touchdowns and 150. I think he hit 140. But when the game flow is not in their favor, when they're not facing the
week 1
abysmal Bengals, it's going to be Hunt. So Hunt might, dare I say, Hunt is more valuable to own in fantasy than Nick Chubb. I don't know if I can go to that level yet because Chubb is the guy until they get game flowed out. And I think he's the best runner in the NFL. I really do. Like, pure runner. But it's just, I think they're both going to eat. So Hunt becomes the much better pick because you got him at round 6, round 7. I'm feeling great about all my Kareem Hunt stocks. But that was the article, and I don't think it's a mirage. I think this offense is going to be through the backfield. That's why we were so down on OBJ. Yeah, he had a touchdown this week. Very much like last year's Stephon Diggs. Going to have his good weeks where he gets deep and has a nice touchdown. And then there's going to be weeks where they throw it 10 times and he does nothing. That's how I feel about it. What about you, CJ? Are you a fan of like this Browns offense in fantasy? What are you thinking about the Browns?
Obviously I love the run game, but yeah, I do agree that, I mean, Chubb is such a beast, and it also makes me so sad just being a Sony Michel, fucking having to watch that garbage every week. But yeah, I do love that running offense. It's still like Odell did have his touchdown, but like that passing offense just still isn't what it needs to be. Baker, I don't think has it, and I love Baker, but I just don't think he has it.
I'm done with the dough ball Baker. He did not come in slim. He looks fat in the face still.
Yeah. So there was a good tweet about like he was great at Oklahoma because he was like the walk on at Texas Tech, like trying to prove myself, blah blah. Wins the Heisman, and then first like number 1 overall pick, and it's like, what else does he have to play for? It's like he needs
a little carrot.
He's like accomplished everything. It's like
yeah. He needs that little carrot in front of his face. Yeah. I could see him being a guy, if they like bring in a quarterback, like get pushed, he could end up responding.
Yeah, if they drafted one in like the 2nd round or something.
I hate that he needs that though. Like fuck it. I'm not a Baker believer. I really am not at this point. But I do think your running game, Omar, is going to be monstrous all year. I'm with you on that one. That line, it made the huge difference. And I wish I had bought harder on Chubb, Lowe, and Hunt last week because, the Browns, I mean, facing the Ravens was a tough matchup, but the zone blocking seems like it's getting there, and I think it's only going to get better. That takes a couple weeks to fully get it acclimated to as a line. You really have to be in sync. And they started, Bengals, what a great warm-up to get in sync against. They looked awesome. That run game is going to be a problem all year. And so, Baker's good enough if he gets that play action. I could see the Browns, sneaky turning that season around if this run game keeps it up, and I think they will. Mm-hmm. Some good questions, though. I like that we're talking because we get some more questions in here. I wonder how we're doing. Last week we got 130 on Facebook. I think we got like 60. We hit 200 just across different platforms. I hope we're approaching again. So keep them coming in, guys. We want to keep smashing our records. Wide receiver 2 in flex, McLaurin, Malcolm, Cam Akers, Hines. I'm not playing Akers. Let's eliminate him. Hines, Allen. You got some great options here, Michael. This is going to be a tough one. Chark, Anderson, Sutton. Who should I keep rest of the season and trade for? That's tough to recommend. Trade fours. I can't gauge your value. So let me know what type of offers, who you dangle. I pretty much say anyone on my roster is expendable at any point. You just have to match what I'm thinking in my price. And you do have some really good options here. So starting today, I think I got to go with McLaurin and Chark is where I'm leaning personally. Hines and Brown are the other ones I'm considering, and Keenan. I mean, this is a great question. I go McLaurin, Chark. Which two are you picking out of this one, CJ?
I was honestly just putting in a DraftKings lineup. Let me see. McLaurin, Brown. Yeah, I think I'd go Chark as the locked in, and then I do like, actually it's half PPR. Yeah, I'd probably go McLaurin then. I was gonna go Hines if it was full, but yeah, I'm gonna go McLaurin and Chark.
Hines was my third, if that means anything as well. So I agree with you too. Hines or Hilton. I got to go Hilton there. That secondary is one to attack, so that's where I lean.
Yeah.
P. Ryan is blah. Does everything okay, but nothing great. I wouldn't stash. Not much upside. There you go. From the Jets fan himself. Don't stash P. Ryan. Not worth it. Second league. Need to. Oh, so this is not the not playing Seamus in either league. Bowden made sure to clarify for us because we would never give you an honest take against Seamus, but it is Seamus's brother, so we now know. But no, Bowden, we'll always give you. We're never dicks and like gonna give someone wrong advice on purpose. So it does not matter what league it is. I appreciate the clarification, but we're never going to be assholes and give someone wrong advice on like purpose or something. And who knows if we're ever even fucking right. Like,
make us look like idiots too.
Yeah, exactly. That's bad branding. So Bowden, as much as I want Seamus to destroy you guys again, and Bowden, I'm going to toss this out there. We want to make a documentary about Seamus eventually, like in his fantasy stuff. Would you be willing as the brother to chime in on his latest fantasy ascension as a project for the RSJ? Just throwing it out there. Let us know your thoughts, maybe in the DMs. But you need two of John Brown, Sutton, Slayton, Miller. I lean benching Sutton. You say leaning Brown and Sutton, but tough leaving Slayton on the bench. That's exactly who I would put in over Sutton. I can't go to the guy right now until I see Sutton play. I know he's healthy, and he's facing Pittsburgh this week. So I go John Brown and I go Slayton personally. Do you agree with that call, CJ?
John Brown, Slayton.
You bench Sutton this week for Slayton, essentially, is what it comes down to.
Yes, I would.
Miller
Yeah,
against
I
the Giants is intriguing.
I know. Miller's been a popular play this week. A lot of experts are saying.
A lot love Miller. A lot of good guys, too. A lot of sound experts, but I still wouldn't put Miller in over Slayton or Brown.
No, me either.
Personally. Not playing Seamus in either league. Oh, yeah, he already clarified that. They're the Ingram Kamara this year if things were. That's exactly what I compared him to in my article. Oh, my. That's why you're a wolf. Good brain. Big brain. Hunt and Chubb. Yes. JJ Taylor, the undrafted agent, looked like a young Dion Lewis. He was a big boy, too, actually. I liked him. Thick, like sturdy.
Yeah, and he's like 5'6" too.
Right, exactly. That Maurice Jones-Drew, like a thick Dion Lewis, thick boy. I'm done with Michelle and might as well see what we got. I'm done with Michelle too, so I'm ready to see what else we got. I agree. So yeah, totally. Love the content, fellas. Keep up the great work. Enjoy the football today. And check in the 3 Ins beer podcast if you want to check it out, Dom. You enjoy the football too, brother. Always appreciate the support. My favorite live stream indeed, especially that fire intro, Taylor. Thanks so much. A lot of good feedback on that already. Thanks for the shout out, of course. Oh, yes. Russell Gage against who? I don't know what the question is, but I like him. A lot of targets last week. Shootout game against Dallas. I mean, could be in your lineups. I could see that. And Keenan Allen for Fausto Leon Sanchez. Keenan Allen, Fuller, Robert Woods, or Lockett, which two to start? You have to have Woods in. That's the no-brainer. So it comes down to Allen, Fuller, or Lockett. Now, that's tough because all of them have their narratives and all of them have their faults.
And it's non-PPR, which always makes me afraid with Allen.
I think I go Fuller. Like, let's see if he gets deep there. Keenan Allen would have been better if it was PPR and just getting those dinks, but I don't know about his touchdown share. And then Lockett gets New England, so
I like Lockett.
You go Lockett. Yeah, I mean,
I think Gilmore's going to be on DK, so I like Lockett to get freed up a little bit.
Yeah, I go Fuller. He goes Lockett, Fausto. Hopefully you make the right call. And that's it. And that's where we got to cut it because we only have 4 minutes to kick off. I want to make sure all my lineups are set too. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to the Sunday Fantasy Tailgate. You can find our rankings and everything else at rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed fantasy wolves. Best of luck in week 2. We'll be live tomorrow, Monday night, for your recap Risers Fallers show and then all your waiver wire goods on Tuesday. You guys are the best. Thank you, Wolfpack, as always, for another great Sunday broadcast. Let's take it down and dominate our leagues. Cheers.